Hello, Durud and Shalom. Hi, Monkey.
Hello, Durudanola. And Shalom.
And Shalom. Okay, Monkey, we have boom booms. A lot of
Lots of boom booms.
lots of boom booms. So, but is it at the level that we want? Especially given that American soldiers have been like, do you expect more? Like, do you think more is going to come? Because this is not at all at the level that we want yet, but hopefully something is going to happen pretty soon, right? Is that your expectation? American
Well,
soldiers killed.
boom booms are not the correct prescription. The correct prescription is the complete destruction or the annihilation of the IRGC and the change of the government. Like, if you hit them with, instead of 20, 50, 100,000 bombs, that's just bombs. Like, the correct justice would be for that regime to have no power over anything ever again.
Pretty good explanation. So let's actually see what the updates are. And guys, hello, people in the chat. Let us know what you think because we're going to keep an eye on your opinions as well. And okay, see, Amir saying, and return to spears. Good luck at it. Oh, I think you mean to speaking. Oh, you're just talking to somebody
No,
else.
no, the
Okay.
return of them to go from weapons like nuclear to spears.
Oh,
The
okay,
RGC.
okay. Yes, Amir is agreeing with you, saying great first take, Monkey. There you go. People agree with Monkey. So let's see what's the update really quick, and then we'll go into what the responses to this is and what we think is going to come next. But let's play this first.
U.S. forces are launching another round of strikes against Iran for the 8th consecutive night. CENTCOM says the attacks are meant to degrade Iran's ability to target ships in the Strait of Hormuz and comes as punishment for Iran killing 2 U.S. service members in Jordan last night. Joey, I'm going to take it back to you on this breaking news. We probably figured that this was coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
And probably planned either way, perhaps, because it's the 8th consecutive night. But President Trump obviously making a stand here.
Yeah, so it's a chess game, right? You don't make this move unless you've planned for whatever they do after that. You're positioning and posturing your troops. You're changing things around. What happened in Jordan was a tragedy. You learn from it. You make sure you know whatever failure allowed that to happen is fortified, and then you go on the offensive and you punish them. One thing President Trump has always been consistent about is if you slap me, I will punch you. And I think that that's probably the message they're trying to send right now. If they have the target opportunity for a punch, that's the other side of it, is what do they have left that they know they can hit and cause real harm? And that's what we'll sit back and watch because we don't know that.
Yeah, certainly. Lisa, your thoughts on 8th consecutive night of strikes?
Yeah, obviously concerned about the escalation trap, but they killed 2 of our soldiers. Mm-hmm. And so I hope in response to this, President Trump hits them very, very hard. Maybe we need to take out another leader. You don't kill our American soldiers.
Right.
And get away with it.
Ben, this was perhaps coming.
Yeah, that's right. I'm glad that that's the language that everyone is using. Guys, regardless of what you think that they will already do, it always makes sense to keep maximum pressure on your government, even if you like the government, even if you think that they're already going to do what you think they're going to do. As a citizen, it makes sense to keep pushing the government for the direction that you think is best. Don't just assume things. So I like this language that, yep, we expect a lot more. So you might be like, oh, Armin, I'm sure they're planning something. It doesn't matter.
That's why I didn't.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't limit. Like they say, okay, so they launched 1,000. So if we send 10,000, that's enough. No, I'm not putting a numerical limit on this. Like we go until they're done. Till they're over, till they can't do anything else anywhere on Earth.
Yes, perfect. I like the way you think about this, Monkey.
Response to this, President Trump hits them very, very hard. Maybe we need to take out another leader. You don't kill our American soldiers,
right?
And get away with it.
Ben, this was perhaps coming anyway, but how do you think the week is going to shape up? I think the president has got FIFA tomorrow. There might be a pause in some of the discussion for that celebration, but Monday's going to come, and the American people who were doing other things this weekend, they're going to be wondering what the next step is.
Yeah, and I think it's important for the president to explain to the American people what his intent is and why he intends to do it. We know that this is something, to your point, that was probably already planned, maybe maybe de-escalated it a little bit, just given the context. But look at this point, we should have a real focus on what the definition is for the president of what the end game looks like here and what he's going to do in order to achieve it. The American people deserve to hear that from him. As I said, I think that this whole conflict from the beginning needed to have greater focus. We needed to know what the aim was, what we were willing to do, what we really wanted to achieve in terms of degrading them. And I think that that's something that, unfortunately, the absence of it led to a lot of different people going in a lot of different directions on this
You have to ask yourself, where are we if that first week or however long of bombing where they killed half the leadership and took out most of the Navy and Air Force, and then if they left after that, where would we be?
Yeah.
You have to ask, would we be in a similar place with less casualties? I don't know. I'm not armchair quarterbacking, but.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all.
So, guys, in the next video is discussing serious. Look at this one. Look at the title for this one. It says serious discussions underway about ground operations in Iran. Ex-Air Force intelligence officer is saying. So I want to go over this, but before I do that, there's something I need to tell you guys about the attacks on Jordan and why it happened. Okay, what the reason why the Islamic Republic was because we were guessing, we were trying to figure out why there was more heavy attacks on Jordan compared to before, because the Islamic Republic was going basically Kuwait, Bahrain, Kuwait, Bahrain, Kuwait, Bahrain. The reason why they had more heavy attacks on Jordan recently is because they need a replacement for Israel, because there was such a big division with and heavy push against the Islamic Republic by the regime's base of support, that why are you not even attacking Israel? Because the regime had stopped attacking Israel because they are afraid of Israel, because they saw what Israel is capable of when it comes to taking out the regime officials, the highest ranking regime officials. So they're afraid that if they get and they think that the United States is holding Israel back, but if they hit Israel, that United States will not be able to hold Israel back anymore, and it will basically bring Israel into the war, and then Israel will just be able to come in and take out so many of the high-ranking regime officials, and they're worried about their life. So that's why they're not touching Israel, haven't been touching Israel for a while. In fact, not only that, they went for a long time without hitting UAE and Saudi Arabia as well, because there's even Saudi Arabia and UAE hitting them now has consequences. So they were just focusing on Bahrain and Kuwait for a while, mostly because those are the weakest ones there with the least consequences. But then Jordan is also, in their opinion, had lower consequences because but in their opinion. But now I think now their 2 American soldiers are dead. There's going to be major consequences, but they would be able to sell that to their followers, to their base of support, that this is preparation for attacking Israel, because they're saying, oh, this is our path towards Israel. Again, I'm not going to play this entire video for you guys, but we just reviewed this video on the Persian channel, and what this is on state TV on channel 3 in Iran by the Islamic Republic. And what they were arguing is that to eventually destroy Israel and liberate Jerusalem, in their mind, they need to create a path towards Israel, and Jordan is the path towards there for like a grand invasion or something like that, which is delusional, because they already had been working for decades to create a path to Israel, which went through Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and now they're losing all the way to Israel from Iran's borders. And now they are losing they already lost Syria, Assad fell. Now they're also losing Iraq and Lebanon as well. So their already existing path is gone, and now you're basically getting started on a new path. Right after they kill your supreme leader, and instead of getting revenge, you promise to your followers that you will just wipe out Haifa and Jerusalem if they do dare anything like that. But now in response, you're saying like, oh, we're preparing Jordan, taking Jordan so that we could finally have a path towards Israel and do a grand invasion one day. It's really, so this is like a beginning of a multi-decade project that you're working on. That's what you're selling to your followers, which is delusional. But that is one of the reasons why they were doing Jordan, is because it was one of the reasons is to be a substitute for not attacking Israel.
I am sorry. I apologize. I was in the middle of a
For
call.
what?
I just hung
Oh,
up.
no. No need to say that. Let's go back. Let's go. No need to tell us you're fine. Okay, but let's go to this video now.
Well, the audience
this-
is going to think this monkey is not paying attention.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But you could just say I was away. You don't need to apologize. Oh, we got
Oh.
a super chat. Veteran Huffman, thank you so much for the super chat, saying, I'm still laughing about that statement, Armin. Armin showed us from the Durka about escalation of offensive actions yesterday. Oh my God, I have I have so many more videos like that. I don't know if you guys want me to share.
Yeah, apparently. I mean,
Yeah.
we appreciate the super chat. Maybe we could show some of that here for the folks in this time slot.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Let me go through the updates. But okay, I have so many videos. I just finished my Persian channel live stream. My audience there is mostly Iranians. And over there we usually review mostly videos from the regime on their state TV, from their propaganda, in the streets. It's hilarious. But I do have to share more of them with you guys sometimes. I have to just pick which, because there's so many of them. I have to pick which one is the most educational.
The funniest slices in there.
Funniest places, or the most educational or funniest ones. Yeah, sure. Ooh, there's a one video that I'm gonna just bring up with Ali's live stream later today. They are, well, actually maybe tomorrow because I don't have it ready. But Arakchi just had an interview on state media, and he's spilling the beans. Like, he's like really spilling the beans, and he's blaming IRGC. He's comparing the supreme leader to a symbolic teacup, as if he has no use. Like, it's pretty, some pretty explosive stuff. Arakchi, like people are shocked. But maybe I'll have it ready for tomorrow. Yes, I will have that ready for tomorrow. I'll share that with you guys, because that's making a lot of that's going viral on Iranian social media. And thank you, Veteran Huffman. And again, thank you so much for your service. All right, let's watch this part, because we're gonna see how likely is ground operations. Right, remember, guys, Monkey was correct, because we had to yesterday he made us come up with a category of ground operations, because when we talk about ground operations, there's so many different things that we're talking about. So because of Monkey said, like, we need to know what we're talking about, I categorize it in 3 different types, right? One that is very unlikely, one that is likely, and one that we don't know the percentage of. So this is about that, right? So the one that is very unlikely is like a massive, hundreds of thousands of American troops going out and taking over Iran, kind of like what they did with Iraq 20 years ago with Saddam. That is the very unlikely one, right? Nothing is impossible, but we're saying very unlikely. And that's there. Then the one that is likely is like special operations, limited force going out and doing some, doing a mission with a specific target, in and out, getting it done. That happening is very likely, right? But there's the middle category between these two that, I at least don't know how likely that is, which is not hundreds of thousands, not invading the whole country, maybe 5,000, 10,000, or tens of thousands, and only for capturing and temporarily holding some islands or some cities in southern Iran. That's the middle ground. And that's what we don't know how likely that is, right? So let's look at this video and see what this expert says on that.
And joining us now, Jake Soteriadis, former Air Force intelligence officer, now a national security strategist and author as well. So, Jake, when you look at the situation, there were those attacks last night that killed 2 U.S. service members. One more is missing. Where do we go from here?
Well, John, thanks for having me. Look, I think right now we all should acknowledge that, if they haven't been notified yet, they will pretty soon. There are 3 American families or more that are going to receive the worst news that they could ever receive. Their lives are going to change forever. And that's the reality of serving in the U.S. military, and frankly, the reality of what war means at this level, especially when we're talking about escalating operations. So I think from where we are now, of course, The MOU is basically on life support. We're seeing an escalation. You're having serious discussions in Washington about perhaps inserting ground troops to maybe capture critical islands in the Strait of Hormuz or even some coastal sites to be able to ensure freedom of navigation throughout the Strait of Hormuz. So I think the administration here is at an inflection point. If it escalates and things drag out, this stands to be the issue that will define the second term of Donald Trump's presidency.
I want to play some sound from Democrat Illinois Congressman Raja Krishnamurti about his opinion on the war. Listen.
This is a forever war at this point. This is a quagmire. Neither side, the U.S. certainly cannot militarily resolve the situation. And as a consequence, this illegal and unconstitutional war is dragging us further and further into an economic mess, which is chaotic for consumers. And you don't have to go further than your gas pump.
That's just a lot. That's a lot of bullshit.
What's happening to?
Yeah, what do you have? Do you want to respond?
These are 10 lies in a row. 10 lies. It's illegal. That's bullshit. Forever war. How the fuck do you know it's forever? It hasn't even been, it's been a couple of months. How do you define forever? How are you? This is a forever war. You're making a statement of fact about infinite time, because forever is infinite time, and you're turning it into a statement of fact. That's just ridiculous. Illegal war, occupation. These are lies on top of lies on top of lies. He's so full of shit. From the first statement he made, he just threw 10 lies out there altogether. That's why I like to stop him, because it's hard to catch them all. Like when you pack bullshit that tightly, it's like you're putting 10 tons of bullshit in a 5-pound bag.
Well, yeah, let me know whenever you want me to respond, okay?
Us further and further into an economic mess, which is chaotic for...
Yeah, economic mess. Let me actually look at the S&P 500. How are we doing? Do we have a crash? Year over year? Still up 18%? Look at this. It's still up 18%. Pretty good. Pretty good. I like it. 18% year over year. Looks one of the strongest economies in the world, the strongest economies in the world, and still growing faster than most economies in the world. So pretty good. We're doing okay. Thank you.
For consumers, and you don't have to go further than your gas pump and see what's happening to individuals as well as the economy.
That's another lie right there. That's another lie, because what happens in the gas pump is very strongly related to that Democrat in your location who is increasing your gas prices and telling you that it's a tree-hugging measure, while he takes that profit from that tax and sticks it into his pockets and into some program that his friends can use for fraud. Like that's absolute horseshit. Gas prices have a high likelihood to change depending on whether you're in a Republican or a Democrat district. So when you hear these politicians say that, what they're trying to say is, I raised gas prices with my gas taxes, but when there's an outside force that seems to affect price, I'm going to blame it all elsewhere. California doesn't have high gasoline prices because of the war. They have high gas prices because of their policies, because of their politics, and because of their taxes. So that's absolute bullshit. This guy is deflecting for the midterms and trying to blame things that are far away for the heavy taxes that he puts on his people.
Pretty good. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, if you're worried about gas prices, why the hell are you not removing some of these taxes?
Look, I'd make that my campaign policy. Are you worried about your gas prices? Fire your Democrat.
True.
How do you see it?
I think if you look at where we are, we have to define more carefully and precisely what the actual objectives are in this campaign moving forward. To me, there are two major questions. Are we trying to change Iran's behavior, or are we fundamentally trying to change Iran itself? Those require completely different military and strategic approaches. I think from what I'm seeing right now, all the indicators point to changing Iran's behavior, which means ratcheting up the military campaign, trying to target the IRGC leadership much more carefully and deliberately so that they do not feel safe no matter where they are in the country, and also be very smart about taking Iran's missile and drone capability off the battlefield. That's where they're causing the most damage right now, and that's very likely where the U.S. casualties have come from in Jordan that we just found out about. So I think that's where American leadership needs to look over the next weeks.
Why is it so difficult to keep the Strait of Hormuz open? I mean, they've been launching, I guess, drones and some of their fast attack boats to harass the shipping that is trying to get through. Why is it so difficult to shoot down those drones or to take them out before they hit their targets?
John, that's the million-dollar question, and I think that's what a lot of people are asking right now. And the fact is, you don't have a lot of reaction time when you're talking about launching drones or missiles from coastal sites into shipping lanes, into the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz, as you can see on the map, is very, very narrow already. So it's already a choke point that we're aware of, but you don't have a ton of reaction time. We're talking about minutes or perhaps seconds in some cases to try to take evasive action. And so that's the problem. It's not that the Iranians have a big naval fleet. Of course, their fleet's at the bottom of the Persian Gulf right now. But it's the uncertainty. And of course, this is raising insurance premiums for shipping companies. And that's what's keeping them out and upsetting the commerce in the Strait of Hormuz.
Former Air Force intelligence.
I don't really see any way to open the Strait of Hormuz other than, short term liberating southern Iran, but long term liberating all of Iran. Do you see, other than complete regime change, Monkey, do you see any other way to, because I think that the Strait of Hormuz will be like this for as long as the Islamic Republic is in power. For as long, the solution to everything is regime change. You want the Strait of Hormuz open, regime change. You want the enriched uranium, regime change. You want no nuclear weapons in the hands of jihadis, regime change. You want to stop support for terrorist groups like Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis, regime change. The answer to all of this, not only the answer to all of this is regime change, there is no other answer to any of these things. As long as the Islamic Republic is there, no matter how many negotiations you do, no matter how many MOUs you sign or deals that you come to, they will continue to support Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hashosh-Shabi. They will continue from now on causing trouble in the Strait of Hormuz and disrupting international trade. And they will definitely, now more than ever, go towards getting a nuclear bomb. And there's one solution to all of this. And you have to, people have to accept that. There is no other way. Regime change is the answer.
Well, I personally like the map that you showed yesterday where the Lion and Sun territory kind of rises from the south. I thought that was a wonderful map because if we are able to take control of some of these places, a small force can train and vet locals to then control those places and then have those places be in control of locals, Iranians that are loyal to the people of Iran, not the IRGC. That's how you would shift that. You would surge up, change who controls the area. Surge up, change who controls that area. You would have to vet them. You would have to train them. But vetting is one of the most important parts, and training is also very important. The problem with the Contras, they were badly trained. The problem with the cartels, we did not vet enough of the things that we did against the cartel and wound up training bad people. When we trained the Mexican military, they turned into bad cartels. So what we don't want is unvetted and untrained. Untrained, they're going to lose. Unvetted, we're going to train bad people. So if we have them vetted and trained and we start placing them in positions, then it won't be our boots on the ground. They'll be vetted, they'll be trained, and they'll start surging from the south to the north.
Unvetted also means that you're arming the IRGC.
That's exactly what happened with some of our efforts to deal with the cartel. We wound up training some of the Mexican forces just because we were, I guess this is the guys that are going into the to fight the cartel. But no, it was a very corrupt military. So we had to we had to do better vetting. Jeff talks about that sometimes in the discussion group. There's a problem with vetting that cannot be overstated, right? You have to make sure you vet the people that you're arming. You have to make sure you know their loyalties. If not, you will just arm the enemy. And we don't want a repeat of that. We want to learn from the past and know that any cities, governments, institutions, facilities that are turned over to locals, these locals are, number one, loyal to the people, not the IRGC. And number two, we want to make sure that they are well trained. Those are the two. And the way to do that would be with a small force to take over and then training through some deltas, some green berets, that kind of thing. So that's the way that you get there without having to have 100,000 American soldiers surge. You just start training the people. I don't know if they start heading south, because as soon as they do it, they become targets. But if we hit enough of their northern targets so that they can't really fire, it makes it all possible. Now, this is a best case scenario. There are also a lot of downsides to this plan, especially coming from these people know their own land. The IRGC know their own land. It's not their land. They're kind of occupying it, but they do know the terrain. So there are things to watch there. I think, there's good and bad with it, like any plan, but I'm just laying out the argument. I'm not saying we have to do this or should do this. I'm just saying it's one way to do it without having a large amount of boots on the ground.
Okay, let me go here. Ooh, this is good. Hold on. Oh, wait, before I do that, let me do, we got a super chat. Fleshy Interloper. Thank you, Fleshy. Saying Durud and Shalom. Durud and Shalom. And Ola. Thank you, Fleshy. Oh, and you had you had a comment. Let's go through
this.
This
is
fast.
From X. I want to thank our X viewers for being here. And Mr. Islam, a warlord, death cult of genocide. Yes. California drove out the gas and oil companies and shut down the refineries. California has always been about $2 more for gas for decades. And they're going to blame the war. This is what blue cities do. This is what blue blue mayors, blue districts do. They blame anyone but themselves for the tax increases that they put on the people.
All right, let's go to this one. I like General Kane.
Part of this operation is comprehensive attacks against the means for Iran to retaliate. Gulf states, U.S. bases in the region. They have not brought Israel into it because why. Israel would respond very aggressively if they attack them. But what does that mean? Part of this operation.
Hey, this is exactly what we were saying since like forever ago. This is the exact reason why they're not attacking Israel, because they're afraid of Israeli response. And the good thing, guys, about that is that the pro-regime Iranians have figured this out, and they're humiliated because they were chanting for 100 days in the streets after the death of Khamenei that, just you wait. Israel is going to be, we'll turn Haifa and Tel Aviv into dust. This is the end of Israel. This is what they were expecting. But now even regime supporters, even their own base of support is noticing that the regime is not even attacking Israel. And they know, I know they're dumb, but even they have enough, IQ to realize that, oh my God, our regime is actually afraid of Israeli response. Like, not only we cannot destroy Israel in the middle of all of this military operations where we're bombing different countries, we're actually afraid of bombing Israel. This is so humiliating, and they know it. This is why they were trying to sell hitting Jordan as kind of like hitting Israel. This is how desperate the regime is. The regime was so desperate that on state TV they were trying to sell hitting Jordan as kind of hitting we're kind of hitting Israel, right, guys, right? They're pretty close. It's right over there.
Same.
same. Oh my God, it's so desperate. Like, well, it's in their way. It's in the way of us getting to Israel. So we need to do preparations for one day. Doing that is crazy. It's so
everybody thought it was odd. Like in our group, at least, we were like, "What the hell is going on here?" but now it
Yeah.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
We went a little over it yesterday, but this makes total
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, it's so great. Oh my god, guys, we have so much fun on the Persian channel making fun of these videos. All right, let's see what we have here.
David Bellavia is the Medal of Honor recipient. All right, David. Looks like Trump's had enough.
He has had enough. I mean, look, the Ayatollah's funeral, they're out there threatening to kill the man. They're talking about death to America. You know, we're doing daytime bombing missions right now. Jesse, I mean, this is the slowest of moving freight trains. But you point out something that I don't hear a lot of your colleagues in the media pointing out. The blockade before was about bringing Iran into an MOU or some sort of understanding and peace deal. That's all ripped up. So what's the end state now? Every single time the American military pushed back against Iran, they had one hand behind their back because we had to get them to a spot where they would agree to some semblance of peace in the future. If that's off the table, I mean, this is going to be a rough day for the future of Iran. You mentioned the pipelines that are being built. The prime minister of Iraq was just in the White House. We're looking at 9 months. 27% of that crude oil is not going to go through the Strait of Hormuz. In 2 years, that's going to be up to 70% of that oil is going to be rerouted through Iraq into Jordan. They're talking about
what percent? 20%? That's
this is going to be a rough day for the
70. Wow.
future of Iran. You mentioned the pipelines that are being built. The prime minister of Iraq was just in the White House. We're looking at 9 months. 27% of that crude oil is not going to go through the Strait of Hormuz.
27.
2 years,
Let 'em keep
that's
going.
going to be up to 70%
Ooh.
of that oil is going to be rerouted through Iraq into Jordan.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
There's
That's
lots
pretty
of pipe. He was talking about one pipe, but there's lots of pipes coming. There's lots of pipes. The pipes are coming. The big Don, the blonde Don, is gonna put down the big pipe. That's right. I'm coming down. I'm coming to lay that pipe. You like it when I lay that pipe. I'm gonna lay it all over.
Guys, that is going to make the Strait of Hormuz pretty irrelevant. If these pipes will make the Islamic Republic lose one of its last remaining 3 leverages. So, guys, like, I don't know what people are saying. I know, like, a lot of us want President Trump to do a lot more than what he's doing. But honestly, we are 2 out of 3. President Trump has made so much progress on 2 out of 3 of the last remaining leverages, which is basically the only deterrence capability and defense that the Islamic Republic has. If we take out these 3, they're sitting ducks. They're vulnerable. It's the Strait of Hormuz, the proxies, the enriched uranium. What President Trump is doing in Syria and Iraq is laying out the groundwork for the pipes to make the Strait of Hormuz not a leverage the Islamic Republic could use anymore. What President Trump is doing in Iraq and in Lebanon is also removing the Islamic Republic's ability to put pressure on the world using Hezbollah and Hashd al-Shabi. What would remain then, it would be the enriched uranium. And this is, by the way, guys, this is why a lot of people think that the Islamic Republic is stupid and they don't know what they're doing, and why they keep insisting on things instead of negotiating. Why do they keep insisting on supporting Hezbollah? Why are they still shooting at ships? Why are they doing that? You think, like, if they know what's good for them, they would stop doing that, and they would just come and sign up, just bend the knee and surrender so that they could survive this. But that's not actually smart. They're evil, but they're not that stupid. They understand that if they give up the Strait of Hormuz, they give up Hezbollah, then there's they can put pressure on nobody. They have they have zero deterrence capability. So from their perspective, if they lose all of this, if they lose all of their leverage, then even if United States are like, okay, even the best case, let's think about the best case scenario for the Islamic Republic. United States gets all of this. The Strait of Hormuz open, you stay back. Hezbollah, you don't support them. Enriched uranium, diluted and destroyed, and we get the inspectors coming in, and you don't enrich uranium anymore. And America comes and says, we're like Islamic Republic says, we're good. United States says, we're good. I'm not going to bother you anymore. Islamic Republic like, whew, that's great, thank you. All right, so let's stop fighting each other. United States like, okay, bye, you're good. Now you have left an Islamic Republic in the region with zero deterrence capabilities, and an Israel that is not going to hold back. Israel, like, why would, if you have zero defense, why would Israel be like, oh, let me show them mercy, let me show the people who did October 7th mercy, because they have a deal with the United States. Basically, United States just defanged the Islamic Republic and is just leading them naked, defenseless and vulnerable for Israel to finish the job. If all of this is success, even with a deal that I don't see coming, this is the best case scenario for the Islamic Republic. And they know this is why the Paidari people, the so-called hardliner camp, they know that they're walking into a trap. And they say that's why they want to keep resisting, because they know that this is hard to win with war, but if we do a deal, this is a trap. This is a trap. It's easier. At least we have a chance. At least with war, we have a chance. With these negotiations, it's guaranteed that they're going to completely defang us and then come for us when we have zero defense.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be a deal. I think that the third, okay, you said, okay, take away their oil power by rerouting. Okay, we do that. Take away their proxies. Okay, we do that. The only way to do the third, because okay, we diluted them. How is that going to happen? That's not going to happen. They're not going to dilute it.
That's what I said.
They can't even reach it. So okay, hear me out.
Yeah. No, I just want to make it clear that I wasn't saying a deal is going to happen. I was saying even if the deal happens, even it's the best case scenario for the Islamic Republic.
Okay, not okay. Now what I'm saying is, we know they're not going to allow the dilution. We know they're not going to allow inspectors. Like we can say pie in the sky. This is what we know for a fact that's not going to happen. So how do you make that happen? You start surging in the south. You start switching control of the local governments until you reach all the way to the north.
Right.
That's how you take care of the third one. Because that's the only way to get the inspection. You have to remove the IRGC. That's how you get that third.
That's what I said. The only way is regime change. The only way is regime change, and you start from the south. But guys, just for the audience in the chat, let me be clear, because maybe I wasn't clear. I wasn't at all 1 second suggesting that a deal is likely. I was just basically showing you, I think I was pretty clear on that. I was showing you that from the perspective of the Islamic Republic, it makes sense if they're, at least from the Paidari camp people, it makes sense that they're resisting. It makes sense that they shouldn't give up the Strait of Hormuz. It makes sense that they should not stop supporting Hezbollah. It makes sense that they shouldn't be giving up their enriched uranium. Because if they do, then it's easy. Then getting rid of the Islamic Republic after that is easy. I wasn't for 1 second suggesting that they're going to do that. Like, I hope that, I don't know if that was clear. Let me know if that was clear, guys, in the chat with you guys. Oh, Kat just became a member. Thank you, Kat. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for supporting us. And also, Fleshy Interloper just got a membership for somebody in the chat. Thank you so much for the gift, the membership gift. All right, let's continue.
Appreciate you guys.
I appreciate you guys.
Going to go through the Strait of Hormuz. In 2 years, that's going to be up to 70% of that oil is going to be rerouted through Iraq into Jordan. They're talking about their future. It's a very short-term thinking. And, then the president put out that the Ayatollah might be 90% dead, 100% gay, but 90% dead.
Oh, my God.
No, that's funny. They're both sassy.
Yes, and he likes it. Look at his laugh. I love his laugh.
Short-term thinking. And, then the president put out that the Ayatollah might be 90% dead, 100% gay, but 90% dead. Think about that. Who are we even talking to, and who are they representing in this?
Yeah, here's a question, though. What does 90% dead means, guys, in the chat? Please answer me. Does 90%, I thought it was 95, but 90% dead, does that mean that there's a 90% chance that he's dead? or does it mean that 90% of him is gone, and 10% or 5% of him is still remaining?
I think he doesn't even have a face anymore. So I'm 100% sure I know how they're taking his temperature.
Oh my god! But which one, guys? Which one is the more likely? Like when President Trump said that Mujtaba is 90% dead, does that mean that only 10% of him is functional, or does he mean that there's a 90% chance that he's dead? 90% chance. Okay.
I like our version better. It's just a lump of meat there, and that and an auto pen next to it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, he's alive. This is what he wants."
Jeez. Okay.
Supreme Council, they could talk all they want. They want to kidnap soldiers. They want to take a shot, at our forces overseas. The reality is we're doing daytime runs and we're telling them that we're coming, and there's not a damn thing they could do about it.
So that's interesting. You got the land and sea blockade. Nothing comes in and out. And you got two-a-days. It's like football. You got practice in the morning. You got another one in the afternoon. Bombs away. That's pure pulverization. I mean, how long is that going to take?
Well, that's the problem is that, we still have these, the Dems are out there cutting wrestling promos every 5 minutes, talking about how Iran is intimidating us. They're doing Lego videos. Hey, look, I'm really proud that Secretary Hegseth has other things to do than construct Lego videos about the enemies of the Republic. The fact of the matter is Pickaxe Mountain can refine and enrich all they want. They're not getting out the front door without a 2,500-pound bomb dropping on their head. If they want to do lab projects underground, that's great. You're not putting them on a missile, and you're not going to reach out and touch anybody. So Pickaxe Mountain can sit there in perpetuity. Try to leave out the door. You're gonna get popped.
All right. We'll see how it shakes out. David, thank you as always.
Ooh, look at this. We have Mark Levin with a update on the Pickaxe Mountain or the nuclear situation. So Monkey, we were talking about, so guys, remember we were talking about the 3 remaining deterrence capabilities, the 3 remaining layers of protection that the Islamic Republic has. Always remember this: the Strait of Hormuz, the proxies, and the enriched uranium, right? And as Monkey suggested, the enriched uranium is the most difficult one. But, the Strait of Hormuz, we see the vision. We see what's happening. Pipes everywhere, bypassing the Strait of Hormuz, making it irrelevant, making it not as important. Right now, that's a longer term solution. Shorter term, going into southern Iran, liberating southern Iran, making the Islamic Republic not be able to have a bomb to cause any disruption in the Strait of Hormuz. At the end of the day, though, the only solution that will be a permanent fix is regime change. So, but we're moving towards defanging the Islamic Republic from, one of the fangs is the Islamic Republic is the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump has made a lot of progress on that, right? The second one is the proxies. We also saw how incredible, especially with the Iraq one, many people didn't see that happening in the background while the ceasefire was happening. We were following it. We were following the fact that President Trump pushed away Nouri al-Maliki as becoming the prime minister of Iraq and making Ali Zaidi the prime minister. And now you see how much that's benefiting the United States. And also the peace agreement between the Lebanese government and Israel, that is also having a huge influence on Hezbollah.
I think they just signed like 48 treaties with Iraq.
Yes, there are a lot of trade agreements, which is fantastic. Billions of dollars worth of investment and infrastructure project. But this one is the most difficult. And this is what we're going to get an update on. Oh, let me see. We got Callie with a super chat saying Israel not participating in attacks. Was this all about decoupling Israel from this fight? Trump keeps mentioning Turkey could have gotten in because Israel or Kurds. Was this pause really about Turkey or 4D chess? So see, here's the thing. Israel is more interested in a plan that topples the Islamic Republic faster, right? So Israel and United States are pretty much more aligned than most two other countries, but there are some difference in strategies. And United States wants to use negotiations as a way because to basically do the attacks on their own schedule. Israel's schedule is a little bit different from United States schedule, especially because of their upcoming election. They need to show some victories against the Islamic Republic, but there's also a whole bunch of other things that they have to deal with internally right now when it comes to their election. But right now, at least when it comes to Iran, the competition between the different parties in Israel is that who has a better plan against the Islamic Republic. But there's quite an agreement in Israel on all parties, on the head of the main parties, that the Islamic Republic has to go. Like there's almost a unanimous agreement that there needs to be regime change. That unanimous agreement does not exist in the United States. Different people, the parties disagree with each other. Many people, many Americans, many politicians don't agree with maximum aggression and war, responding to the war by the Islamic Republic and the United States. But in Israel, the agreement does exist that the Islamic Republic needs to be toppled. But the competition and the disagreement is who has the better plan. And right now, Netanyahu doesn't. His popularity is dropping, because he seems to be, by many Israelis, it seems like he's being controlled by President Trump, like he's being held back. Israel really right now wants to get in. The Americans, because they have their longer-term large plan, and they are basically asking the Americans to hold back. And they're not giving them the green light. Israel does need the green light of the United States because Israel's military is so much integrated with the United States, and they do need the protection that the United States provides them when if this things escalates. So Israel does need the permission and the green light of the United States, and United States, because it's working on a much bigger, longer term plan, they are right now, as of right now, might be holding Israel back. Some people are. Mike, your mic is open. I'm not finished.
Yeah, let me get in here as soon as you can. You've been going on for a while.
I will. I'm like almost finished. Like just like please let me finish. Okay. Like I lost my chain of thought. What was I saying? Let me think about it. Don't interrupt me. Let me just finish. God damn it.
They need permission.
Okay, so there are a lot of Monkey, let me like, even if I go for a while, just let me finish my thoughts. Okay, these are the only moments that I have to communicate my thoughts. Okay, let me finish, even if it takes a while, please. Thank you. I mean, you like on your show, you could go on for as long. This is the only segment that I have that I could completely communicate my thoughts. What was I saying is that, oh yeah, so there are some people within that are saying that maybe pretty soon we're going to get to a point where Israel is going to be given the green light. That is some people's analysis, especially with the fuel tankers in the airport in Ben Gurion Airport in Israel. There are some signs that maybe Israel is getting ready to go in, but we can't be sure. Go on, Mike.
This is also ignoring what's going on in Lebanon. Like, just because Israel isn't in the fight over here, it doesn't mean that they're not having coordinated joint operations with Lebanon and the United States. One of the things that has been happening is that they are taking care of Hezbollah. One of the things that has been ignored, especially recently, but it was very much large in the picture, what this MOU is not an MOU between two parties. It is an MOU between 5 parties, and one of those parties is Hezbollah, and they didn't even sign. So when we're talking about this MOU and this MOU falling apart, we're also talking about the unity between the United States, Lebanon, and Israel. That unity is not them being away from that fight. It's them stepping into the fight against the proxy. It's them taking away one of these tentacles. I am also sure that Israeli intelligence is helping us deal with Iraq and helping Iraq. So we're having a deal between Israel and Lebanon, and I'm almost sure behind the scenes, we're not seeing, but I bet dollars to donuts that, well, donuts are getting expensive. But the point is, I bet you behind the scenes, Israel is helping them find these IRGC douche canoes that are taking over the money of the Iraqis, to quote the great Uncle Jeff. these douche canoes are taking advantage of the Iraqi people and taking their money. We're not going to pretend Israel has nothing to do with the intelligence here on that. So you have to remember that war is not just bombs. War is many aspects. It's also intelligence. So it needs to be said and remembered that just because you don't see them working, that doesn't mean they're sitting on their laurels. They're not sitting on their hands. I bet Israel is taking the fight to Hamas, taking the fight to Hezbollah, taking out their leaderships. If you check intelligence, I don't have it right now in front of me, but I bet there's been strikes on their leadership. I bet there's this, and Hamas and Hezbollah, I bet they are working, but they're working for their local security to make sure their local people don't have to worry. Does the strike in Jordan worry them? Yes, but you know what? Until they get that tag team, hey, come on in, that clap, like get me in here. They have things to do. They're not sitting on their hands. They're not there like, oh, come on, boss, let me go. That's not what's going on here. And even the parties within Israel know the historic precedent that's being set when you have this deal between Lebanon and Israel agreeing to have Israeli forces come in. That's absolutely true. So there's this part of Israel that has a relationship to Iran because it's a proxy, but they are taking care of local problems. And being held back. Well, no, they're not really being held back. They're not. You don't need that ace right now. You're not going to pull out your best card at the first hand of the game. You're going to wait till it's the right time. And you don't want to just use it to demonstrate that you're not under control. That's a insecure way of using your power. The secure, you don't want to make big statements. I'm going to get in this. I'm going to hit Iran. You don't want to make big statements of when I'm going to do what I'm going to do. You want to sit back, use it in a controlled, precise, and devastating manner. And that's how you bring Israel in.
Yeah. So I'm going to move on to this, but I just want to communicate with the audience, guys, that Israelis are communicating themselves that they are being held back. And they are very frustrated about it. This is what they're communicating to the media. And also the Israeli population also feels very much like they are being held back. So whatever happening,
the military said that?
I mean, let me finish, Monkey. Can I speak, please? Don't interrupt me.
It's just a question.
No, yeah, but it's an interruption. Yes. So this is the politicians, and the military usually doesn't get into politics. Whatever, I'm not making a judgment about what is happening behind the scenes. I just want to let you guys know that politicians and the Israeli population, this is their impression. Whatever is the reality, I'm just telling you that they're also communicating to the world that they're being held back. And also the defense minister is their statements also suggest that they are kind of getting a little bit annoyed. But as again, I understand the Americans, why they have their longer term plan. And I also understand why the Israelis are getting frustrated. And right now the polls suggest that they're punishing Netanyahu for allowing the Americans to control them like that. All right, let's go to Mark Levin.
Welcome back, America. We're here with our friend Nathan Sales, former ambassador at large and coordinator for counterterrorism, one of the sharpest knives in the drawer, I might add. Nathan Sales, where do we go from here with Iran? You see what the president's doing. I'm very supportive of his military action that he's taking here. And do we as a country really understand this enemy is not about deals or transactions and so forth?
Mark, thanks for having me. Let's take a step back and look at the big picture. We are returning to the default Donald Trump approach to Iran, which is make no concessions and impose our will on the regime via coercive force, economic sanctions, military force, diplomatic pressure, and isolation. That has been the approach that Donald Trump has taken with respect to Iran, not just this term and the first term, but dating back to his life as a private citizen back in the 1980s. So nobody should be surprised to see Donald Trump pivoting back to his instinctive approach to Iran. So pressure on Iran towards what end? Well, I think the most immediate goal here is to make sure that the strait is open. And what we're seeing is essentially a three-part strategy to open the strait on our terms and deny Iran any ability to threaten it or extort money from it. So that's the military pressure. And it looks like we're focusing on military capabilities that Iran is using to take shots at shipping in the Gulf. That's the first element. The second element is maximum economic pressure. We saw the president announce the blockade is back on. We also saw the Treasury Department reimpose economic sanctions on Iranian oil exports. And that's going to crush their economy. $435 million a day. That's a big hole to dig your way out of. And then the third part of this, I think, is a coalition, an international coalition that can escort friendly ships through the Gulf. Now, the French and the British have said, yeah, that's a great idea, and we're prepared to commit our naval assets to helping the United States do it. I think it's time to step up. It would be great to see some French flags and Union Jacks alongside the Stars and Stripes there in the Strait of Hormuz to ensure the free flow of friendly shipping.
Now, in terms of nukes, in terms of the processed uranium there for nukes and so forth, so on. How do you view that? Why do we need a deal? You know, you and I talked about this offline for a little. Why do we need a deal? Why don't we just make sure it doesn't happen?
It's a great point, Mark. And, you know, the deal we need is B-2 bombers, because that was the tool that degraded the Iranian nuclear weapons program to the very sorry state that it's in right now. Now, is it down to zero? Probably not. But the situation that the Iranian nuclear weapons program is in today is substantially degraded. Their centrifuges have been destroyed. Their facilities under mountains have been largely collapsed. The highly enriched uranium that they have built up a stockpile of since the Biden administration is entombed. So we don't actually need a deal, maybe, in order to preserve the weakened state of the Iranian regime. Don't forget, their nuclear engineers, many of their brightest nuclear engineers are dead as well. So the problem with pursuing a deal, as opposed to just maintaining the status quo with the threat of force, the problem with the deal is, one, we're going to have to give something up to get a deal. Two, any deal that the Iranians sign, they're going to start violating it on day one. And we know that because that's exactly how they treated the ceasefire deal over the past month. And the third point is, we might be able to do this unilaterally. We keep eyes on all of the nuclear sites.
No.
We collect intelligence. And the minute the Iranians make a move, we're in a position to say, not so fast.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Neither a deal works, and that doesn't work either. The only thing works when it comes to the enrichment of uranium is regime change. Okay, so he's right that a deal doesn't work. Like, that's pretty obvious. But his strategy doesn't work either. Like, just like bombing things and watching things, they will figure out a way. You know, it's easier to dig deeper than it is to build more powerful bunker busters that go down deeper, right? At the end of the day, you keep killing them. You keep killing their scientists. You have been doing that for so long, and still they managed to eventually get to deeper enriched uranium facilities. And you know, the knowledge of how to. It doesn't matter. Like, killing the scientists was very helpful. It just delayed it. It didn't stop it. They can find a way to spread that information. They know how to do it. No, it doesn't matter how many scientists you kill anymore. They have that information. Once you learn something, you can't unlearn it, right? And you keep bombing things. Like, I mean, even they already have the Pickaxe Mountain is too deep. Like, it's too deep. Yeah, the only way you could get that, I don't know, maybe it was about the tactical nuclear bomb. There is no way for you to just keep monitoring things and bomb them and use threat to stop the Islamic Republic from getting from them getting a bomb, from them getting a nuclear bomb. There is no way. So the deal doesn't work. This constant monitoring, bombing, threatening doesn't work. One way or another, these people have to really realize, like, not just Americans, but people around the world, either accept that the Islamic Republic will have nuclear bombs and you're just going to live in a world where this death cult, this Shia death cult that wants to take over the whole world and destroy Israel and United States now as an atomic bomb? Either just make peace with that and accept that, or accept that the only way to stop that is regime change. There is no in between. There is absolutely no in between. Do you agree? There is no in between. Do you agree?
I want to put a scenario here for you. Tell me what you think. Now, let's say the lion and sun takes over Iran. Let's just put that as a scenario. IRGC is out, and the U.S. says, "Look, let's make a deal with you. I want a couple of bases here. Would you be okay with that?"
The U.S. wants to put a bases inside Iran?
Yeah.
Of course, that would be amazing.
Let's say those bases were at Pickaxe, Esfahan, and like basically those bunkers.
Wait, this is after. Sorry, this is after Iran is liberated, or before?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that would be amazing.
Yes. So that if anybody tries to bomb Iran, not only is it difficult for them to hit the places where we would counter, right? But you would give us exactly what we want in this deal to get rid of those sites. So, okay, so you want that not to be a problem anymore. Well, okay, you know what? I'm the transitionary government over here of Iran in exile. I make a deal with you. Look, you bring stability to the region. I let you have bases at these exact places where they were trying to dig in, and we'll let the U.S. dig in here and become a stabilizing force in a region and have you in a place where you don't have to worry about the bombs falling on you like they did in Jordan, because it's a hardened site.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure once the Iran is free, whenever security agreements we make the Americans, they could it would be something that they would, yeah, for sure. Yeah, maybe that's a good
say,
idea.
okay, I agree to this, but that's the first thing I'm going for when I go and help you do this transitional thing.
So American bases, I don't know if they're that efficient, if they're that deep underground, because I don't know if the deployment, because there's like the elevators that go deep underground. So I don't know if when it comes to deployment, if that's the most efficient thing to do. But whatever works. Like I don't know. But to your main point, like obviously having U.S. bases in Iran is a win-win for the Iranian people and United States, because for Iran it will bring more stability to Iran, and for the United States it brings your mic is up. For the United States it brings them more reach and more visibility, and the extension of U.S. military might in more areas. So this is a huge win-win for both of them. But go on.
Well, it's also a better long-term goal than a deal with the RGC.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that. But you agree that the only way to solve this whole nuclear nonsense of the Islamic Republic is regime change. There is no in between, right?
No, there's no in between, and there's no better good faith measure to show that let's say ignorant people, not because they're evil, not because they want to do harm, just because they are ignoring certain facts that they don't have knowledge on. They are afraid that this will become like what happened in the worst times in Iraq. If they are afraid of that and they're told, you don't have to worry about that because we're going to have these enforced bases where if the transitional government needs our help, we will have places from which to help. So it can't turn into what happened in Libya sometimes. It can't turn into that, because we will have a place that is good for us, profitable for us, profitable for the companies that we have working together, that also profit the Iranian people. This is going to be way more fair than what the ARGC had going, and it's going to be a stabilizing force. Like if I'm thinking long-term goals, all of this sounds much more stable, good for all parties, good for all Persian Gulf neighbors. It sounds like the most stable, good for Iran, for Israel, for Iran, for Saudi. It's the most stabilizing good that there can be for. Okay, you talk about this sometime. The most good for the most amount of people.
But perfectly said. Yeah, good. Utilitarian principle. Wait, we got a super chat. Let's read that. Fleshy Interloper saying you can never have too many drones. True. Yes.
We might see infantry drone warfare. Like if we're going in, no one has ever seen outside of Ukraine the kind of infantry drone warfare that may come if we're just using a small team of the best of the best of the best. If it happens, I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
All right. But it's interesting that this guy was saying all of this. I think that I think that they like this idea, like, oh, a deal doesn't work, we should just keep threatening them and monitoring them. That is not good enough. That is not at all good enough, in my opinion. But I think Mark Levin has a better idea. He knows, like, you know what Mark Levin says? Armed Iranian people, and you will just see the Islamic Republic fall, crumbling down. Here's a new post by President Trump. Oh, Monkey, do you want to read this one?
Republicans should add Iran to the Russian sanctions bill. That's what Lindsey wanted to do, and it was going to happen. Important, President Donald J. Trump. That's me.
You're getting, you were already good, but it's getting even better. Nicely.
Well, I'm sure he means the IRGC.
Yes. What do you think about this post?
I think it's correct. Like that's what was happening on the trip, and no matter what happens to Lindsey after, we should pay attention to what he wanted, because if you look at the long arc of history of what he wanted, he was usually right.
Right. Okay. So here's you guys already heard about this, Monkey. I think you already saw this, talking about this travel warning, worldwide caution to Americans for traveling. I don't know what they have seen. This usually happens in response to a certain intelligence report. So Americans, beware. This is a travel warning.
The search is on for a U.S. service member missing in action in Jordan, where 2 others were killed yesterday, defending against Iranian missile and drone attacks. Lucas Tomlinson is in Tel Aviv. He is live with the latest for us. Lucas.
And John, the State Department has just issued a brand new worldwide caution urging Americans to think twice about any travel to the Middle East. It was released just about 40 minutes ago on the travel.gov website. Due to heightened tensions in the Middle East, the security environment remains complex with the potential for unseen escalation. And that's exactly what we saw in neighboring Jordan. John, last night when Iran fired multiple intermediate-range ballistic missiles that made it through U.S. air defense systems, hit a base in Jordan with dozens of U.S. Air Force personnel at the base, F-16s, F-15s, F-35 stealth fighter jets. We know from U.S. Military Central Command that there are at least 2 U.S. service members killed in action. 1 remains missing, as you mentioned. Also, 4 others were wounded. Also want to remind viewers that earlier today, before this news about the recent casualties in Jordan, there were 13 American troops wounded just earlier this week, John, as Iran has stepped up its attacks on neighboring Gulf countries, Bahrain, in Jordan, and certainly in Kuwait, where we saw a desalination plant get hit, a power plant get hit for Kuwaitis drinking water. And why are they attacking Kuwait, John? We have a lot of U.S. assets there. We have U.S. Army firing HIMARS, surface-to-surface missiles from Kuwait. We also have Ali Salim Air Base, major transit point. Bahrain is home of the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet. And in Jordan, a major U.S. Air Force presence. From a lot of our viewers, we've been focusing primarily on the Navy over the last 4 months of this war. There's a large U.S. Air Force presence, certainly here in Israel and also next door in Jordan as well, John.
Lucas Tomlinson. Lucas.
What do you think about, what is this in response to this travel caution thing?
Look, I think we have to have a heightened sense of alertness, a heightened sense of security, just because everybody knows the value that our citizens have to us and our service members have to us. That's going to make any number of bad actors want to retaliate on people just for being American citizens, because they know they can't reach the people they want to reach. So because of what's going on, because they want to get these political officials or military officials and can't. They might do something desperate, or someone that's aligned might do something crazy. So that's why we would like I would think that's why we would like a heightened sense of alert for all our citizens.
Interesting. Yeah. But look at this. This is this guy is saying, let Israel off the leash. Oh my God. I mean, that's not nice to say that they're on a leash, but let me see what was this video.
Part of this operation is comprehensive attacks against the means for Iran to retaliate. Gulf states, U.S. bases in the region. They have not brought Israel into it because you know why. Israel would respond very aggressively if they attacked them. But what does that mean? Part of this.
Okay, so he's saying, General Kenny is saying that they haven't brought Israel into it because they would be acting very aggressively. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, but here's the thing, guys. Americans have I think Americans have a bit much longer plan. And over the long term, I do think the American plan is more fundamentally destroying the Islamic Republic's roots. So Israel is really good at what it does, but I think that even though I really do want to see maximum aggression against the Islamic Republic right now, and I can't wait until Israel is allowed to go in and do what they do best. But I do think, with the Americans deserve credit in basically removing certain soft power of the Islamic Republic, that nobody else, President Trump has been able to take out soft power of the Islamic Republic in a way that nobody has been able to before. And I think that a lot of people don't appreciate that. I think Israel, when the time comes, when they're going to go in and they're going to be able to, show us how it's done. But I do think that the Americans have managed to fundamentally also cause a lot of division and hurt the ideological power of the Islamic Republic in a way that we didn't even know was possible. So we have to appreciate that as well. I think, letting them both have their moment at different times. They go in the ceasefire, Americans go with the disarming of the Islamic Republic with their internal politics, and then after a period of time allowing Israel to go back in and finish the job with the remaining regime officials. I honestly think that's a great combination between both of them over here.
I'd also add to that the fight is not over. They still have some soft power in places like Nair and Nyack. That's something that should be looked at. All the undue influence that's had by NGOs from the outside. There has been investigation into it, especially very recently, and that needs to continue to be attacked because their soft power money is also coming from more than one place, and all those places that are not strengthening necessarily the Islamic Republic's specific goals of the things around them, but also the things attacking capitalism, attacking Western values. That also has to be looked at as an undue influence, an outside force, a malevolent force, and something that has nefarious and many times illegal influence into what's happening. So we do see, I do agree that we have seen their soft power diminished, but that doesn't mean other actors aren't trying to get their soft power in, and that needs to continue.
That's a good point. Yes. Let me see what
the U.S. completing its 8th.
Guys, this is a lot more recent, so let's see what the recent updates are.
Straight night of strikes against Iran, hitting back at the terror regime for killing 2 service members in attacks in Jordan on Friday. Another U.S. soldier remains missing. Fox News contributor, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo joins us now. Mr. Secretary, so great to see you this morning. Thanks for getting up with us. Tragic, terrible story here. Do you think that Iran has severely miscalculated our president?
Well, good morning, Charlie. Look, it is tragic. Anytime there's the loss of life of an American service member, our hearts just break. And so we should remember their families and all those that love them today. I do think the Iranians are on a path for what is their ultimate capitulation. This isn't going to be, Charlie, this isn't going to be tit for tat. This is part of a continued strategic campaign on behalf of the Trump administration to do what President Trump talked about at the outset of this, right? Surrender from the Iranian regime. President Trump has tried to find a path forward that didn't require that, but the Iranians have clearly demonstrated they have no interest in anything short of that. So this effort will continue. We will diminish their capacity to control the strait. And this is about nothing less than Western civilization. Are we going to allow someone like a regime in Iran, a terrorist regime that has killed not just these two service members, but thousands of Americans over decades? Are we going to allow that kind of regime to continue to threaten basic human decency? Or are we going to do the necessary and make sure that that regime can never threaten, whether that's Israel, the one rightful Jewish state, or the United States of America and its president, as they're doing just as we sit here this morning?
Obviously, President Trump is, I think, made a very good faith effort, very much wanted to try to find a path towards peace with the memo of understanding. But during that period of time, Iran, brought in some 20 oil tanker ships raising, $6 billion. Was that a strategic mistake to allow them to rearm? Obviously, during that same period of time, the United States has managed to rearm as well.
No, we needed that to resupply the markets with oil. We needed the cushion.
I'm also not sure they got the money.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a good point. You know what? Actually, Monkey, that's a great combination. The oil got out, but because they violated the MOU, they might not be able to. I mean, they were never going to get the money. They were supposed to get corn. So is it possible that, guys, we're in a situation that we got the oil and they didn't get their corn?
I told you this would happen.
Yeah.
I told you this is exactly what will happen. I told you we will take their money and we will give them nothing because they will break the deal. And it takes a lot of time for the corn to get over there.
Monkey saw this coming, guys, everybody. Monkey predicted this, but let me double check. Is right now with the MOU being violated, are we in a situation where the Islamic Republic sold their oil from the blockade removal and the sanction waiver? They were supposed to get corn and soybeans and hay and some other stuff. Is it now the case that the oil got out, but the Islamic Republic didn't get paid? That would be some crazy stuff. That is an actual 5D chess move if this has happened.
People got mad at me because I said that. They said I said let them sell the oil. We control the money, and by the time the corn gets over there, they're not gonna get it because they're gonna break the MOU, guaranteed. So we're gonna get to keep the oil and then keep the corn too. They're not even gonna get the popcorn. Not even popcorn.
Yeah, guys. See what? So the answer is why. Well, take this with a grain of salt. While the Islamic Republic managed to rapidly ship nearly 60 million barrels of crude oil out of the Persian Gulf during the brief sanctions holiday, the subsequent U.S. revocation of the waiver has completely frozen the financial pipelines. As a result, the regime's oil profit remained locked away in escrow, leaving them entirely cut off from the anticipated shipments of American soy and soybeans. Okay. All right, Monkey, you told us.
I knew this would happen. I predicted this like a month ago.
Okay, guys, Monkey was right about this. Monkey predicted this a month ago, so give him credit for that. That was pretty good. Good job, Monkey. Well done.
Appreciate that.
Guys, that is actual 5D. Sometimes people, exaggerate, and everything that that looks kind of bad, they say 5D, trust the plan. Some people overdo that and they try to justify everything away by saying it's a 5D chess move. But this one is an actual, we're not saying it before, this is an after, this is an actual 5D chess move. Right? Yes,
absolutely.
This is a good one. Yes.
To rearm.
Oh, look at this. Texas took out somebody who threatened people. Thank you, Texas. Thank you for your mudding. Keeping us safe, keeping the people safe in the chat. Thank you, Texas, for mudding.
$1 billion. Was that a strategic mistake to allow them to rearm? Obviously, during that same period of time, the United States has managed to rearm as well, stockpiles in the region. But was that a mistake?
Charlie, it's never a mistake to try to find a solution, I suppose. But allowing them to try and find that solution while they were having money come into their coffers when the nation is now near broke, I think was an error. I think it prolonged this in a way that I wish we hadn't done. But here we are.
Yeah.
And it's the case today that pretty soon.
I mean, I think these people are not looking at the things we're looking at. Wait, is this? Has he lost weight? Is he who I think it is? It doesn't look like he used to.
Look, I've seen some things in the chat about this guy being kind of like a little close to Mech. I'm not sure if there's any truth to that.
Wait, is this Mike Pompeo?
That's what they're saying, yeah.
Wow, he has lost a lot of weight. I didn't recognize him. What the hell happened to him? Yeah, he is with the MEK. If this is Mike Pompeo, he is a big supporter of the MEK. We know that about him. I just didn't know this is Mike Pompeo. He used to be twice the size.
Chat, what's the weight loss drug? What is he on? You guys remember what it is?
I didn't recognize him. What the hell? Okay. Okay, so yeah, guys, this is Mike Pompeo, and he's bought by the MEK. He's completely with the MEK people.
Ozempic Pompeo. That's who we got here.
It's never a mistake to try to find a solution, I suppose. But allowing them to try and find that solution while they were having money come into their coffers when the nation is now near broke, I think was an error. I think it prolonged this in a way that I wish we hadn't done. But here we are.
Yeah.
And it's the case today that pretty soon that blockade that CENTCOM has so efficiently established and the effort to diminish their capability to harm ships that are moving through the strait, and frankly, the world's ability to make the strait just less important by moving crude oil and other products out of the region through places.
Texas is saying Ozemike.
Other than the strait itself, all of those things give Iran less leverage, and they'll eventually stop making payroll. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis in Yemen, they'll stop making payroll. They'll stop having the money to buy munitions, and when that happens, the Iranian people will get the shot that they so rightly deserve. That's the path forward. Economic strangle, military power.
Guys, this guy is supporting a woman who's a Marxist and an Islamic Marxist, and is an anti-Pahlavi, the most aggressive anti-Pahlavi people this person supports.
And
I hope he hasn't done it recently.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. Like maybe we'll have to
Like I hope anyone who has in the past been fooled by Mech, Nair, Nayak is starting to distance themselves, wash their hands, and saying, I want nothing to do with this. Let's leave it up to the Iranian people. Because this is the same as backing separatist Kurds. They're just a bunch of commies. That's just a different religion.
Yeah, has Pompeo recently been supporting the MEK? I could look into that.
Well, I think it's important to know. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't know you were finished.
I was saying it's important, like we spoke on this a little bit before. There was big, we talked about this on my show. There's been big moves being made against leftist groups, leftist funding, and we're taking a hard look at leftist influences into our election, leftist propping up of the Democrat Party, and through many mechanisms. So having a leftist group, a left Islamo communist group like MEC is something that needs a hard look at, and I hope anyone who has been near is waking up and smelling the roses on this and knowing that these guys are no good for anyone.
So this is what I got. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo continues to enthusiastically champion the MEK, most recently delivering a major video address to their massive February 2026 rally in Berlin. He praised Mariam Rajavi's leadership, claimed the collapse of the Iranian regime is entirely inevitable, and advocated for an independent democratic republic to safeguard the Persian Gulf region. So yeah,
massive rally in Berlin. What the hell is that about? Are they mixing up two different events?
Yeah, maybe it was like you're right. Actually,
What is that? That makes no sense.
That rally was not massive. There was at the same time there was a rally for Pahlavi, so maybe you're confusing with that. Also, the MEK rally was small and filled with people from Afghanistan, from Ukraine that didn't know any better, and from other countries, and from Syria and other places. So yeah, you're right. That rally, good catch, Monkey. That rally, we saw the videos of that rally. It was actually pathetically small, and they were mostly non-Iranian.
Yeah, you always got to double check these things because these people like to mix themselves in as Iranian opposition to the IRGC and along with the people, but they're not. They're actually the same dog with a different collar.
All right, so yeah, this is what I got. The MK's February 2026 Berlin rally was heavily populated by paid non-Iranian refugees from Ukraine, Syria, and Afghanistan, rather than organic diaspora protesters. This manufactured event was entirely overshadowed days later by genuine massive global rallies supporting Reza Pahlavi and secular democracy, which drew hundreds of thousands of real Iranian exiles worldwide. Okay, good.
But he was there. He was there at the fake one.
Yes, he was there for the fake one and supporting Mariam Rajavi, which is sad. Somebody needs to investigate this because this is like that guy. That's a communist, Marxist, Islamic cult that Mike Pompeo is supporting still, which is weird. Anyways, you know what? I'm not going to even play him anymore because why play him? Why give him credibility? Because we're not even because the problem is that he's not saying wrong things. Like he's our enemy, but he's saying good, correct things. So that I don't want to. Which they do that. Like these people sometimes have to have the correct analysis as a way to increase their legitimacy. But we got some super chats we need to get to. Fleshy interloper with the super chat saying Israel is unleashed because of Arabs. Best protection for Arabs is unleash Israel. They're hurting themselves. Israel is unleashed is because of Arabs. Best protection for Arabs is unleashed Israel. They hurt. You're right. Actually, you're right. That's a good point. It's the Arab lobby group that is anti-Israeli in the West and spreads this. That's such a good point, Flesh Interloper. Is the Qatari lobby, for example, that Qatari and also the UAE, the Arabs have these they're not doing it as much as before, but all their promotion Qataris are, but not the UAE and Saudi Arabia, but all of their propaganda and the funding of anti-Israeli NGOs and groups in the United States has created push on United States policies to hold Israel back, which is now not good for these Arab countries because their only chance against their main enemy, which is the Islamic Republic, is Israel. So basically, they shot themselves in the foot. The very weapon, the very force, the most aggression, the greatest threat to their enemy, they for years have contributed to holding it back, keeping it in chains by influencing American politics. These Arab countries now have to see that unleashing Israel, a strong Israel, is good for them because nobody else will be able to help them get rid of push back against the Islamic Republic. That's why President Trump's Abrahamic Accord makes a lot of sense for these Arab countries. But again, these countries are so slow to adapt. And they have to understand that it's in complete. You're so right. It's completely within the best interest of the Arab countries around the Persian Gulf to just let Israel loose and let Israel just cook. And then we got another super chat by Firejack 007 saying IDF Iranian missiles intercepted by Jordan created debris falling towards Israel. Israel missiles hit debris which fell in open desert near Eilat. Okay, so let me see. Iranian missiles intercepted by Jordan created debris falling towards Israel. Israeli missiles hit debris. Oh, really? So they hit the Jordanians hit the missile, the debris, and the Israelis also hit the debris. Where is Eilat? Eilat. Do you know where that is? Izlait is southern. Okay, is a southern Israeli port. Wow, that's crazy. Is this true? Monkey, think about this.
Breaking news.
Missile was
Check it out.
oh, breaking news right now.
No, I'm saying you're talking about this. Is it not happening right now?
No, I think he's talking about the. Well, I don't know actually. Is it? But let me actually double check. That is crazy if it's true, because think about the Israelis had to protect Israel from the debris of a missile being hit by the Jordanians. I mean, not the Jordanians, the Americans in Jordan, right? Because the Jordanians are not intercepting, it's the Americans in Jordan intercepting. That's what I'm assuming happened. It is true. Unbelievable. This happened when? Okay, today. Oh yeah, so this is breaking. This is pretty new. This has just happened. So yeah, on July 19, 2026, the Iranian regime fired ballistic missiles targeting Jordan, forcing U.S. air defense to enter. I was right as well. It's U.S. air defense, not Jordanians. U.S. air defense to intercept them and shatter the projectiles mid-air. The IDF swiftly deployed Iron Dome interceptors to neutralize the dangerous falling debris heading towards Eilat, preventing any injuries or damages. That's pretty crazy. Wow, your missiles were hit and the debris from the missiles were also hit in the sky. That is crazy. Wow.
Good stuff.
That's
OP.
good stuff. Wow. Fleshy Interloper, thank you for the super chat saying MEK as Democratic alternative. LOL. Yeah, I know. It's such a joke. I don't even I'm so tired of even responding to MEK BS. Oh, you start this one, Monkey. Thank you, Fleshy, by the way.
Islamic warlord death cult of genocide, which is a great name. That is what it is. Reports Pompeo, Rudy, that means Giuliani, Bolton, Pence all took money from the MEK Rajavi. Research for verification, not AI. Use AI last. Like, yeah, we use AI to bolster some of our searches. We got to it's a tool. You got to use tools appropriately. But I've heard about this before, right? We heard about this MEK's connection to political parties or political people.
Yes, no, these are the list is completely correct. The list is completely correct. These are the people who were supported by MEK, which is a Marxist
Thank you.
Islamic group. Yes.
And shout out to all the people watching on X. Thank you.
Yeah, we know this. We have been talking about this forever. Yeah, but thank you for the reminder. Also, guys, when I use AI, I have like a Gemini gem with instructions that reduces the PC stuff. It doesn't eliminate it, but it reduces it, and it gives me the sources, and it double checks that the sources are unbiased and credible. So there is way to make the AI work better. It's not perfect, but it also gives me the list of sources that it used, and I could also check whether the sources are credible sources. And for more research, I could click on the link and go find it in the sources that it gave me as well. So there are ways to make AI. It's not just like just go ask it and just believe what it's saying. There are adjustments that you could make to make it work better in your way. Just use.
I'm going to need a course on making gems from Armin over here so I can get good at this.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like I said, I make it question this, that will check it, find an alternative source, make sure the source is credible, the source is not biased. Question yourself. Don't be PC. Don't be woke. Be like my Gemini gem, like the gem that I make it is sometimes it gets like really spicy with its stuff because of the adjustments I made. Like it's really anti-woke sometimes, right? So it's good.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. So let's look at this one.
Well, John, thanks so much for having me on. I think one of the interesting things, and I've just seen kind of breaking news on this, was the precision in which they were able to strike sensitive targets within Jordan. And the reporting is indicating that perhaps China or Russia was feeding them targeting information. Now, we need to get to the bottom of that, particularly if we're talking about China, on the back of the news that the president just broke and declassified about them stealing over 200 million voter files from the United States, and obviously interfering in our election, where they were trying to influence through media campaigns or social media people's perceptions and how they were ultimately going to vote. China is our adversary. We need to make this very, very clear. This is one of the reasons last year I introduced a bill to eliminate all student visas for China. Why are we training and educating our enemies to then work to destroy us? It doesn't make any sense at all. And this is why the president has implemented tariffs on them and tried to pull back our industry from China. So we need to get to the bottom of this. But where do we go from here, though, is also looking at how we're going to work with those GCC partners in the region, because this could tip over, hopefully not, could tip over into a regional destabilizing conflict, which nobody wants that. But some of these folks in the region there really need to step up and think about their own interest in this as well.
You know, I've been hearing this a lot. I don't know. I haven't done my research on it, but I've been hearing that, you know, there's reports that China was responsible for providing critical information, like intelligence to the Islamic Republic during the recent operations, like throughout the military operations, but even up until recently, that led to the death of the two U.S. servicemen. But go on, Minky.
I think that they're providing satellite intel. I think that's pretty much known. They're disguising it as open. Like, they're not, like, one of the things, they might have more secret you know, information that they're giving. But one of the things that's openly known is that these Chinese satellite companies are just putting the information out to everybody. So it's hard to say, hey, you're helping the IRGC if you're not just sending it to them. If you're sending it to everybody, they have a layer of what do we call of separation, where they can claim, oh, this is just open source intel. I just want just, you know, transparency, that kind of thing. So I know for a fact that we're doing that. Do they have farther ties? Well, we know that they are also part of the apparatus that was helping the IRGC to keep a close watch on the Iranian people, like it does in China. The CCP, we know, is kind of like a big brother state where they have cameras everywhere and facial recognition. It is believed that some of this software was being implemented in Iran. In China itself, they've kind of been refurbishing all these systems, because it apparently in Venezuela they used it and we just hacked it to know where everybody was. So these things, you know, you start watching the people, you never know who's watching the watchers. That's kind of the problem with that. But I have no doubt that they are leaking some information in, and I hope we can prove it and put some big sanctions on.
Look at this, Monkey. Intelligence reports following the tragic July 17, 2026 attack in Jordan strongly indicate that China provided the targeting information used to strike U.S. forces by supplying the Islamic Republic with real-time geospatial data. I don't know if I pronounced it right. Beijing is being held heavily accountable for enabling the lethal capabilities for the Iranian regime. Guys, so Americans, you lost 2 soldiers, and China is also, it's not just the Islamic Republic, the CCP provided the intelligence to make that happen. So this is huge. There needs to be consequences for this.
They have been doing this from the start. I don't know if they're giving them more up to date, like they're being faster about updates that they're giving Iran. But this is the geolocation, spatial geolocation is basically the pictures. China has been giving pictures of the whole area, you know, very, you know, from the space, but they get in very close. And that's what gives them the targeting data. The faster you get these pictures out, the more precise the targeting data is. So that's what I'm thinking is happening here. And they've been doing so much dirty stuff with our elections, with our universities, with the people that they're funding, some of them violent, I would say insurrectionist movements, leftist insurrectionist movements, like Antifa. Like with all the things that they're doing, they should be heavily sanctioned at the minimum.
Right. It's crazy. Like, I mean, there needs to be a bigger, louder backlash to this. Guys, the CCP in China provided intelligence to the Islamic Republic that killed American soldiers. Like, this should be like every American should know this right now. I kind of sometimes wish a better backlash to these things. I don't know if I'm expecting too much.
They've also been launching intercontinental ballistic missiles from submarine as kind of a threat to America, aimed not at America but at islands that are like similar direction, like saying, "Hey, I could launch this at you." It's a threat, threatening overtures with their submarine-based intercontinental missiles, ballistics missiles.
All right. We got a super chat. Say it saying, "Oh, thank you, Say it." Saying your show is great. Armin and Grease Monkey. I appreciate you guys. Well, thank you, Say it. We
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna, guys, put your tomatoes, rotten tomatoes away. I know you're gonna hate this, but I have a CNN clip and I don't know what they're gonna say. But they're like, Armin, CNN, why are you showing CNN? I don't know. We'll see if it's a good take or a bad take, and we could respond to it because we haven't been watching what the other media is, how they're covering what's happening in Iran. So we want to see what the other side is saying as well. Okay, so we don't want to be an echo chamber. We want to see what they're saying and if it's wrong, and also respond to it if it's wrong. Oh no, we got the tomatoes out. Like, no. Okay.
Maybe those aren't rotten.
Okay. Maybe. Okay. Thank you.
Now by retired U.S. Army Brigadier General Peter Zwack. And General Zwack, I just want to start with your reaction to this news that we've gotten in. The 2 more U.S. service members have been killed in this war and another missing.
Omar, I'm first of all just sad for the families and their friends, but this is war, and as we get, as we're going into a mano phase with the Iranians, we can expect to take more losses. So we need to be steeled for that, and the nation needs to be steeled for that. And yes, this we are in a escalatory cycle, we have, the president has not yet spoken on it. The Ayatollah has,
No, the Ayatollah hasn't. The Ayatollah put out a statement, PDF, somebody, we don't know if it's him. Mujtaba didn't put out a statement. I mean, did you hear him? Did you hear him speak? I didn't hear him speak, so you don't know. It's just a statement. They might have been written for him. He might be dead. We don't know.
And we have, the president has not yet spoken on it. The Ayatollah has, this is, I think we may be entering into an even more vicious phase than we have hoped for.
So tell me about that. What do you anticipate U.S. retaliation on Iran to look like here?
Yeah, Omar, I think that the retaliation, certainly, we will come in hard with airstrikes. The question is what? Clearly, we've been now, what, in a 7-day round, 7-night round, and going after military infrastructure, some civilian infrastructure and bridges and roads, and et cetera. But what's next? And we are, of course, we've been listening to concern about desalination plants, power plants,
this guy uses so many ums. I mean, like, I think 75% of what he's saying is ums.
The one thing we can count on is that the Iranians are not going to bend to us. I think that early on, culturally, we frankly underestimated the Iranians right from the beginning.
Oh.
And the Ayatollah and his current IRGC team have been badly banged up. He's lost much of his family, and they're not going to roll. And we just need to be ready for that.
So he says we underestimated the Ayatollahs. Did the Americans underestimate the Ayatollahs, Monkey? What do you think?
I think, if anything, what was happening was an overestimation of their ability to control their own people. Like, if anything, what we're seeing is a large amount of division. And that, like, if I would put a mistake on this, and this is me trying to steelman the Mr. Argument, what I would say is that there was an overestimation on the ability of having one party control the rest of the IRGC. That's where I see the problem, because right now, you're seeing yourself as a person that has knowledge of the language and the culture, that they are very divided, which means that the deal cannot be reached. There's no way they're going to sign away for us to get that uranium or inspections. That's just not going to happen, which makes the only way forward surge from the south to the north, training and vetting civilians from Iran to take over their land.
Right. Yeah, so actually you're right, because we didn't anticipate, we knew this is going to happen. We knew that this is going to cause a lot of division with the Islamic Republic, but that the rate in which the internal structure of the Islamic Republic falling is much faster than many people anticipated. So you're right, actually.
I think that one thing I do worry about with a lot more activity in the air, and we lost the.
Oh my God!
How is this guy ever a general?
I don't know. How's he like get it out? Like maybe old age. Maybe he was a lot quicker before when he was younger. I don't know.
Not generals are all people.
Yeah, I don't
mostly.
Soldiers and one wounded in
you know what? I can't with this guy. I'm sorry.
Oh boy, you're giving us this guy. Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I prefer this guy now.
So no medium. We either go nice or full annoying. We're not doing a little annoying. We're going full bore here. Okay. I see where we're going.
This is more tolerable than CNN.
Oh my God, the torture. Okay.
All right, now this is better, guys. This is better, I think. I could tell it. Let's see what Marandi says.
I wouldn't expect you to consider them wholly from a strategic perspective.
So, guys, Marandi is the Islamic Republic propagandist. He works for the regime.
I wouldn't expect you to consider them wholly from a strategic perspective, though. Do you think that would force Trump to escalate on his side? Because a lot of people are watching, and we could link this to the next question, is the Iranians said they would strike Dubai and Abu Dhabi international airports. Do you think they will carry on with that threat on striking these airports if we see bridges struck again today, like the last 2 days?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. More than that, I think the Iranians have also said that they will strike Fujairah and the Jebel Ali ports as well. I'm not quite sure, but I think those are the ports. So it's not just airports, and it's asked people to evacuate in case the United States targets civilian structures again. Because the United States has been, and through its bases in the Persian Gulf region, it's been focusing on civilian targets and murdering. And actually, the United States has been waiting for people to cross the bridges, and then they bomb the bridges. So they see a family car on the bridge. I mean, U.S. pilots, I think they are the same as Israeli pilots. They take pleasure in murdering innocent people. So they see a
There's
truck.
no
going
evidence
over.
to back
These are
this
all
up.
civilians.
He's just saying things. And the other guy just accepted. Oh, really? How like we've seen these bombings. There's no one near that bridge when it gets hit. What is he talking about? He's just making things up. And the other guy has no pushback because he's a propagandist. But we have all seen the daily videos. Where are these cars near the bridges? That's an absolute lie.
He's actually suggesting that the American pilots are like, oh, the bridge is empty. Wait until a car with a family in it passes by, so we could take out the car. You know, guys, when a tip to liars out there, make up lies that are believable. Like, if you want to lie, don't overdo it. Like, even like, guys, even if you're the enemy of the United States, you have to think to yourself, but why would they do that? Like, how would that benefit the Americans? Like, imagine if you're the Americans, they're like, oh yeah, no, wait for a car with a family with children on it and blow it over there. Even if the Americans are evil and the Islamic Republic are the good guys and the Americans are evil, evil powers around the world, they do something so that they could get something. Like, are you just saying this is for their own satisfaction? They're just so bloodthirsty that even if they, what benefit would the Americans get out of making sure there is a car with families in it and bomb that instead of an empty bridge? Even if you're evil, wouldn't it make sense for you, for at least for a propaganda perspective, an international image perspective, even if you don't care about the lives of family, civilians or children, just for the sake of preserving an image, wouldn't that make sense for you to just make sure, like, try to avoid killing children? Like, this doesn't even make sense, even if the Americans are evil.
I know what it is. These are the IED people. They're just projecting their own wishes, their own strategies. That's what they would do. That's why they're saying it. They're accusing us about, say, MRAPs are the new minivans. That's what they're doing. They're projecting. If it was up to them and they were hitting our bridges, they'd wait for a family to go by. So they're projecting those desires on us.
That makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. You're right. Let me actually play this whole video just so only a few more seconds is left, and then we'll get to your guys' comments.
Going over. These are all civilian bridges that they've destroyed, and all civilian tunnels which link cities and villages and towns, and workers go back and forth. It's so it's clear what these pilots try to do. They wait till a car is passing and then they hit the car, the truck, so that they can kill a family and take some pleasure in it.
Take some pleasure. So the benefit is that the Americans get, like, this is what I thought he was going to say. Like, guys, this is cartoonishly evil. Okay. In the real world, evil has its own power and wealth intentions. When you make your enemy look like a cartoon villain, then only people with a child's brain will accept that. Like, are your followers this dumb? Even if you want to sell the Americans and Israelis as evil, don't make it cartoonishly evil. Guys, this is the difference between watching, I don't know, even cartoons are not this, like this. Guys, like, I don't know, like Thanos.
That's the wrong perspective. They are that evil and they think that's normal.
Thanos, for example, guys, when you make a good movie, you give the evil character in the movie, you make them somewhat, you write a good script so that they're believable. You try to make it so, like, oh, I see from their perspective, this is why you're wiping out half of the world. Okay, I see. Like, he's not right, but I can see his justification. So that's how you write a script. But you don't just like, oh, they're just evil, they're just killing people for the sake of getting pleasure. That's not how you write a script. That's not how you lie. Unbelievable.
But if you are so evil that you invented the roadside bomb so you could kill people no matter who's coming along, and you do get pleasure out of seeing maybe the families of your enemies blowing up, then you would think other people do this, right? You would think that your motivations, your cartoonishly evil heart must be normal. So I don't think that it's illogical. I don't think they're bad writing. I think they're projecting. I think that's their cartoonishly. I think the IRGC is cartoonishly evil. And that's why it kind of fails, because cartoonish evil is also dumb. It's not strategically good. I think the IRGC is cartoonishly evil, and that's why they project the way they do here.
Got it. Yeah. Guys, why are you getting out your tomatoes? I know, people are putting out tomatoes at me because I'm showing them this.
No, not
this
you, them. They love you.
No, no, they're throwing tomatoes. Okay, we got 5 super chats. Flesh Interloper saying super chat timer running out. You guys got it right before it ran out. Thank you so much. I mean, you did, Flesh, like that, and you and everyone else. Thank you so much. Saying confetti to distract from gross human beings. It worked. You got us confetti in the chat. Thank you. And then we got Texas Troop with a super chat saying, you want to read this one?
Repatriate Morandi and try him for treason. Yes. Take him back.
Okay. Thank you, Texas Troop. And then Say it saying he's just projecting. Yep, this is what Monkey was saying too. He's just projecting their actions onto the United States. They do, exactly. Guys, it's so crazy.
100%.
Like the way that they talk about, and also this is like they're doing this more to Americans now, but they have been doing this about Jews for forever. And thank you, Sayed. Amir with a super chat saying Morandi Gondaguzi. Yes, Gondaguzi. That's fantastic. That's what it is. He's going. That's what he's doing.
What does that mean?
Gundaguzi is when because at the beginning, for example, he was saying we're going to do this, we're going to hit that, we're going to devastate, destroy, we're going to respond because the Americans are killing civilians, so we're going to respond. So Gundaguzi is a Persian term which means loud, giant farts, big farts. Okay, and we use it when somebody is like acting all alpha and powerful, but it's all bark and no bite, right? Trying to pretend that
he's puffing himself up, but
puffing himself up. Yes. So we call it Gondaguzi, which means like really loud farts, loud farts. So they're very loud, but it's basically just a fart.
He does look like a loud fart.
Oh my!
If I was gonna give loud farts a face, hey, there you go. Looks a little like Java too.
Omid is asking the important questions here. Omid, thank you for the super chat saying, why is Morandi's hair black, but his beard is white? I don't know.
A little vain. Well, I wouldn't say vain, but like he's trying to look good on TV.
Yeah.
Trying to look sexy for the camera. He should probably shave like Mario.
That's not Islamic. He has that stubble because that's what Islamically he needs to keep some beard. That's why he does it.
Oh.
Yes. No, yeah. These people, whenever you see them, like the Islamic Republic officials, they either have a beard, and if you don't have a beard, they have a stubble. They have to. They shouldn't be shaving. Shaving is un-Islamic.
I thought his beard was longer, but it's a second chin.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay, I have more Morandi. Yay! You guys, I know you guys like this. I know you guys like this. Let's see what he
Whether
says.
you think it could become Iranian policy to actually assassinate or try to assassinate the president as a way to build deterrence against future presidents.
Oh my God! Why is X is so stupid? I have this video.
X doesn't like him either. X doesn't like him either.
Look at guys, I have this video up here, and X decides to just randomly play this video down here for some reason. I don't understand what's wrong with the way X does these things. Let's see.
Why do you think Trump is doing this? And without going through, he's an evil man that just wants to see kids die. From a strategic perspective, what is he thinking?
Right. Wow,
even Mario knows it's cartoonish. Even Mario knows that's cartoonish, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, Mario is like, okay, these people are evil. They want to see children die. Sure, buddy. Can you tell me what you think strategically? What the Americans are thinking? Wow.
Morandi's like, okay, maybe they don't buy this. That's me. I'm projecting.
Yes. Okay.
Why do you think Trump is doing this? And without going through, he's an evil man that just wants to see kids die. From a strategic perspective, what is he thinking?
Right,
because
I didn't say that, but
I
didn't say that.
I'm not saying.
But I do believe he's indifferent. I do believe he's very. I do believe.
Wait, he said I didn't say that. So he's saying the American pilots are evil, but not Trump. Trump is just indifferent.
He's trying to like, wait a minute. No, I wasn't just being ridiculous. I wasn't claiming some stupid cartoonishly evil thing. No. That was misinterpreted.
Yes, he's trying to. I think he figured out how ridiculous he sounded, so that's why he's holding it, like trying to walk it back.
Thinking because I feel
that, but
I
didn't say that.
I'm not saying.
But I
know what I mean.
But I do believe he's indifferent. I do believe he's a psychopath. But
oh my god!
But I think that.
But is he? I'll give you the options. Like, is he? Does he try to get a concession? I had Joe Kent many times on a weekly basis. Is he trying to get a concession so Iran doesn't charge a fee at the Strait of Hormuz? Is that all he's trying to do? Which is good news. Means someone will blink. It's a matter of time. Or do you think he made up his mind on something you warned me about a while ago, which I also probably shouldn't have dismissed, but I did, that there'll be a ground operation, because you mentioned Bahrain and Kuwait. So do you think a ground operation is genuinely on the table? Because that sounds like freaking mental. That's just insane.
Okay, stop it a second.
Considered.
Yep.
Before he answers, Mario has to walk into a believable take because everything he's saying is such a high level of cartoonishly projected bullshit and evil that Mario's like, okay, let me give you two options. One of them, two options that you gave me before. Let me lead this, this pig to water, see if it drinks, right? Let me guide you into a believable take, because if not, you're just going to go into like, everlasting ad hominem land.
Okay. All right.
A ground operation is indeed mental. It is crazy, and it would fail. But the bombing that they're carrying out, according to Iranian military officials, is being done as if they're preparing for ground offensive. So the targets and all that, it's basically to prepare the ground for.
Why is Mario acting like, first of all, what this guy says that means is first of all, look at him, he's so upset. You're like, oh no.
Yes, and also, because this guy's a terrible guest. He has to walk him to the answer. I would be I would be pissed if I was Mario.
No, he gets upset here over the right now he's getting upset that there's going to be a ground invasion. And
no. They're sending messages. Look at him. He looks to the side and he looks like he's typing. He's probably like, dude, stop being so cartoonishly stupid and look at where I'm walking you to. You see how he goes into the side? This is my guess. Like, you could be absolutely right. But I'm just like, we're just brainstorming here. I think like there was a way that this interview was supposed to go. And we're going over some strategic possibility, and you're over here. Trump is evil. These people are evil, and just staying in ad hominem land. And he's like, dude, stay on target. We talked about this, like some kind of short message, because he looked to the side and kind of moved his hand.
I think he got the answer that he wanted, and he's acting, maybe I'm wrong, but he's acting like, oh my God, that is so sad. We're going to have a ground invasion. That is mental, because he's finally moving into strategic stuff rather than cartoonishly evil stuff, right? Because before it, he was talking about like, oh my God, that would be mental if we do a ground invasion. And then when Merendi confirmed, like, yeah, they probably are preparing for ground invasion, he's getting like, he's acting all upset because of that, right? So, but maybe I'm wrong. But
could be, yeah, that could be it too.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have dismissed, but I did, that there'll be a ground operation, because you mentioned Bahrain and Kuwait. So do you think a ground operation is genuinely on the table? Because that sounds like freaking mental. That's just insane if it's really being considered.
A ground operation is indeed mental. It is crazy, and it would fail. But the bombing that they're carrying out, according to Iranian military officials, is being done as if they're preparing for ground offensive. So the targets and all that, it's basically to prepare the ground for.
No, that is a dramatic. I thought he was looking at that was very dramatic. Oh my God, the drama.
Yeah. Yes. See, I know. He's like, ground invasion. That's mental.
The area, the region for ground offensive. Now, it's crazy because it would fail, but also because you live in the Emirates, and the weather and the humidity is just beyond imagination for ordinary people who have never seen this, been to that part of the world. It's just, I don't know if it's even possible. And I've spoken to a couple of senior former American military officers and said, look, I think this is not, this weather is just not the time. And they both said they agreed that it's not the time. But the way in which the strikes are being carried out is to prepare the grounds for a ground offensive. Does that mean he's going to actually do it? I don't know, but it is possible.
What do you think about the weather? Does that even matter, or is it still sandstorm season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually only people keep talking about the weather, and saying that this is a bad time, and I didn't have any information before on this because I knew the sandstorms would be an issue, but I didn't know it being so hot. Does that make it more difficult for the American military or not? Like, do you know more about this than I do?
We do a lot of hot weather training, but I don't know, like there's a level, right? We're used to hot, but is it ungodly hot? Is it so hot that even Iranians are feeling the pressure? That would be my question. If it's so hot that even Iranians are saying this is too much, this is a rough summer, then I would say, well, that may be a problem, but I don't know about that.
Texas Troop is saying, get his face off my screen. Okay, Texas, I'm going to do it, but remember, you ask for it, okay? There you go, okay?
Oh my God.
Okay. There you go. Okay. I did it.
They haven't paid for these tomatoes. They haven't, we're keeping the money. They don't get the ABT card. This one looks like a tomato. Look at his face.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, this is Merendi. This is just the results of you guys just throwing tomatoes. That's what happened after the tomatoes. It just went red.
Oh my God, they do have the same haircut.
Yes, exactly. Look, this is all the tomato sauce around.
This is the shaved Mirandi.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, let me see what he says. Oh, wait. Yeah, there's two things about him I want to show. Let me see what he says here. And there's another. Oh, he said something so anti-American. I mean, he did something so anti-American. But let me show this one first.
That the United States is much weaker than anyone thought it was, including most Americans, including our leaders, including our military leaders. $1.5 trillion a year funded military that can't open a strait. Really? And I think anyone who thought this through knew that there was no military solution to this. I mean, literally up to and including the use of nuclear weapons, because for the strait to remain open, you have to have a coherent government on the northern side of it. Well, on both sides, the Omani side and the Iranian side. And because pirates could close it otherwise, as has happened in the Horn of Africa. So you could nuke Iran and still not guarantee that insurance companies will cover an oil tanker going through the strait. It's just a fact. So there's literally no military solution to this and never has been. That's just logic.
There's a military solution to this. I mean, if you put the U.S. blockade, first of all, is much more effective than the Islamic Republic blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. So their blockade has never been as effective as a U.S. blockade. I mean, their blockade, ships were going through their blockade. Not a single barrel of oil went through the U.S. blockade. And by putting your blockade, they would have to, that hurts them more than their blockade hurts you. And you just, anytime they put a blockade, you could just put your blockade on and hurt them until they lift their blockade. 1, 2, you could also just go arm the Iranian people, hit them where it hurts the most, and do regime change. And then you don't have to worry about a blockade. And also, there's other than the military solution, Monkey and I have discussed non-military solutions, which President Trump is also working on, which is the pipelines in Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, UAE, expanding those as well, and going around the Strait of Hormuz. So there is absolutely a solution for this. It's just that you guys think that United States has a solution for all of this. You guys just want a solution like in 3 months. These things just take time. Go on, Monkey.
What I was going to say is the premise is bad. How does he start? Everyone has seen that TV. Oh, really? Everyone sees the U.S. is weak. We've shown ourselves to be very weak. No, wait a minute. All their defenses were destroyed pretty quickly. What we did show was that Chinese weaponry is very weak and Russian weaponry is very weak. right? Even their most advanced weaponry is having the stuff that they have at home is showing itself to be weak against Ukraine. Much more the defense sharing that they have with China and Russia to Iran, everything there has shown itself to be weak. Like the one thing, where has the weakness been demonstrated? It has been demonstrated in China and Russia. That's who has shown itself to be weak, because we have had our way with the air for a very, very long time. So this is a false narrative that is being spun by this propagandist to get you to just accept as a base fact the premise that we are showing ourselves to be weak. Nothing of the sort. What we are showing is that when push comes to shove, UK isn't going to come help you. France isn't going to help you. Spain isn't going to help you. So when you have problems with your neighbor over here that you've been indulging for far too long, the only one that's going to come around the block and has the strength to do something about it is the US of A. So this false premise on which everything he said is based is a lie. He's just stacking lie on lie on lie. So the base premise has to be rejected.
Yep, that's true. Mike, you're really good at going out and looking at the assumptions that are being made. Like, they're building this whole thing, this whole premise, and they're trying to support it. And then you go basically remove the foundation from the very start. Remove the assumption that this whole thing was based on. You do that. That's a very good thing that you do. Good job at that. Like, I always notice you do that. You're very effective at that.
I
Solution to
appreciate
this,
that.
and never has been.
Yep, no worries.
Military solution to this, and never has been. That's just logic. However, what we've seen since February 28th is just and this is the thing that weighs on me the hardest, is just a ongoing, perpetually unfolding humiliation, where everything about what the United States said about itself, we're the preeminent country in the world, we've got the greatest military in the world, it's like all fake.
Okay.
So everything he said there was a lie, based on lie. And his rhetoric, I've seen him before. Like before this conflict started, before all this, before even the Maduro thing. Like, I would say back when he was in Fox, his rhetoric, he could be seen saying the opposing thing, but he was more, I wouldn't say pragmatic, but he was more fact-based. Now he's just saying things as if they are fact and sounding more like the IRGC than even the woke right. He's just stating things as if they're facts. Like, if you notice what he said, this is just logical. If it was logical, you wouldn't have to say it's logical. It would just be logical. You have to force the assumption that, okay, if you don't accept this, you're not the one that's you're the one that's not logical. Now, why? Why would he do this? Because he wants his audience to think like that. He wants his audience to treat anyone that doesn't agree as not being a logical person, because he's talking to stupid people, or people that are captured by him. There's something called parasocial relationships, and sometimes there can be large crowds of this that work in your favor. It gets bad because they get a little too personal, but they kind of take your word as gospel. This happens to many streamers. It happens to many stars. So he's kind of like building on this very parasocial relationship. This is something that Hassan Piker does a lot, to get his people to say, if you're with me, you're logical. If you're against me, you're illogical. Accept what I'm saying as fact. He doesn't present anything to back up anything he says. He hasn't showed a chart. He hasn't showed a statistic. Hasn't read anything from any source. He's just stating things as if they're fact. And if you don't agree with what I say, well, then you're just not logical. I mean, really? Like he's just creating a fan. He's talking to his chorus, and if you're not in his chorus, you're not a good person.
Yeah, people. I just got a super chat. I'm trying to see if it's true that this is. Okay, let me
Folks,
see.
we're going to be
So-
checking on some news here. We're going to be
Yes.
checking on it.
Elisheva, saying GBN says Mushtaba may no longer be in Iran. Thoughts? I mean, I was not gonna take it. It's interesting because I'm seeing so many people reporting this, but
What's JVN?
it's an Israeli news, but I also am seeing it in being mentioned in some other outlets as well. But I don't know. Let me see if there's any better sources for this before we take it seriously, like direct news. Recent intelligence cited by major global outlets over the past 24 hours confirmed reports that Mujtaba Khamenei has vanished and is likely no longer within the borders of the Islamic Republic. The regime in Iran is currently, I don't know, I have to double check this. This is
Who
where are they-
confirmed? Like that global alliance?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Like, I guess, let me actually. Are you sure? Give me the sources. Are there credible sources for this? This seems unbelievable.
Yeah, on
this
this kind of things, we accept and appreciate your super chats. You must understand that we have to double check these things. We want to be a good arbiters of your time and your attention. So we're going to try to do the best to fact check as much as we can. Because sometimes what happens with these new reports is that it becomes circular. Like one person reports it and another person reports on that report. And then a third person reports that two sources have reported. And then you have a like a matroshka. And at the center of it, it's not coming from a good place. A matroshka is a Russian nesting doll. So you got to get at the
Yes.
center of it to see if it's true.
Okay, well, this is okay. So I'm not gonna. So Israel Hayom is also reporting that Mujtaba Khamenei is not in Iran. So Israel Hayom is reporting that. Let me see. The Telegraph, Times of India is reporting that. Reports Mujtaba Khamenei. The Jerusalem Post. No, they're not. ANI News is reporting that. So I need to see direct sources, not like media, like secondary media sources, right? I need direct sources from the intelligence reports because I don't know if this media outlets are basically telling the truth. So what are the direct sources? Yeah, so guys, let's be patient with this to see if we get any better information than this, because sometimes some of these news outlets get these things wrong. I mean,
Sometimes we have to let it cook.
Yeah, we just let it cook. So yeah, so thank you for bringing this to our attention. I'll keep an eye on it, and we'll talk about it more if we get more information on it. Thank you so much for the super chat to bring this to my attention. This is a weird news that is spreading. If it is not true, I wonder if there is any reason for spreading it. Ooh, it might be a false leak by the Islamic Republic as a way to. Here's a scenario that could be happening. Okay, Mujtaba Khamenei might be dead, and they're trying to find a way to come up with an excuse that, well, actually, that wouldn't work propaganda wise, because that would be actually embarrassing for the Islamic Republic if they say he left Iran. Maybe they're trying to find, like, reduce the. I mean, they can't be trying to misinform the Israelis and Americans because they have really good intelligence, so it wouldn't work for that. So I wouldn't know why they would leak that. Here's it. The direct sources for these claims are anonymous human intelligence operatives who purposefully leak their findings to media outlets. Yeah, so we can't trust this.
Exactly.
To protect. Yeah. Okay. So we don't know, guys. We don't know. It's anonymous.
Another thing that
let's go back-
sometimes happens is that now I'm not saying IRGC, but some folks will leak something that they know is a lie and then come out and say, aha, you guys are liar. I'm the arbiter of truth. You see, they're liars. Is that a possibility? Could be.
Yes. They did that with the Iran International. So the Islamic Republic was trying to discredit Iran International, and Iran International figured it out. So they were leaking information from inside the Islamic Republic to Iran International, but the leak was a false leak, so that the Iran International publishes, and then they come up with a correction so that people stop following Iran International. But somehow Iran International figured it out, and they didn't. They came out and told the story, what happened, instead of publishing the story. So they do that sometimes to discredit their enemy.
We have another report here. Mustafa went to Russia partially, so maybe half of them got out.
Oh my god! Wow, that's a good one. All right, so Ted Cruz posted this saying, "Why does Tucker have so many guests on who absolutely hate America?" And
a lot of
he
them.
was, yes. It seems like he seems to be inviting, like, that's the main people who he invites, anti-Israeli and anti-Americans. So this is Roger Waters, who's calling the United States the absolute evil on Tucker's show today. And he says that the Maduro raid proves it. I wonder if Tucker will respond to that. We'll see.
And she would lower her voice a bit. Very, very naive. And I know we can laugh, but it's like to be suckered into the state you're in now, as you are the absolute devil as far as the rest of the world is, obviously, because you wage war ferociously in order to line your own pockets, and in ways that the rest of the world finds despicable. Look at what's happening in Venezuela now. And there's no pretense made about it. Oh, we're going to go in and just steal all the oil and anything of any value under the... And that's now the model. So that might be the reason to have a war with Russia. Then we could steal whatever's under the ground.
Steal their oil? I thought you guys bought their oil. You're buying their oil. You're not stealing.
This is absolute bullshit. This is absolute bullshit. What was Venezuela doing with the oil? Who was getting the oil? Were the Venezuelan people profiting from any of the oil that was being siphoned off by China and Russia from Venezuela? Did they get anything from that shadow fleet? Are the Iranian people getting anything from what the IRGC does for the oil? This false equivalency that the people in charge of these autocratic nations aren't exploiting the resources, and if the U.S. businesses ever show up, they're about to exploit you, but you're not being exploited now. It's ridiculous. It's absolute bullshit, and it's a straw man tactic and what I would call a deflection, because they talk about what America would do with the oil, because they don't want to talk about what the administration that was in power did with the oil. They don't want to talk about what the Americans might do with Iranian oil, because they don't want to talk about what the IRGC was doing with Iranian oil. That's the same pattern over and over. And I'm sick of that shit. It's absolute bullshit. And Tucker he's an outside operative. He's anti-American. He's obviously anti-American. I think that these people overplay their hand, and with more time, it will become more obvious and more difficult to hide it or even disguise it. I feel better now.
United States did not steal Venezuela's oil. Maduro was stealing Venezuelan people's oil. United States allowed the people of Venezuela to be able to sell their oil in the market, in the free market, at more reasonable prices. And United States is going to help the Venezuelan people build their infrastructure so that they could take better advantage of their natural resources. That's what the United States is doing for Venezuela. And the Venezuelan people will benefit from what? I'm not hold on. Oh my god, my goodness. Let me finish my thoughts. I didn't, you saw how I let you finish your thoughts, right? Go ahead. You know what? Go ahead. But like, can you please
These motherfuckers also stole all the infrastructure. They made styrofoam fucking buildings, which is why when an earthquake hit, all those people died. Whole buildings fell down because these pieces of shit stole the money from the oil and then bought garbage homes. And all these people are dead. And what did they find in some of those garbage homes? That the government had barrels full of money, cash, gold hidden, drugs, they called it the white powder, guns, all hidden because they were taking the money and stealing. All those dead Venezuelans under that styrofoam rubble was because of the theft of these people, right? We haven't just, and what did America do? America went to save all those lives. America put its whole Air Force there. You know what the regime was doing? The regime was worried about getting all that stolen oil from that broken rubble. So they were trying to stop the rescue efforts so they could hide their stolen goods. So the Air Force had to come in and say, no, we're letting the aid in and we're letting the rescuers go rescue people. Stop worrying about your ill-gotten gains. We're going to help these people out. That's what America did. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point, and I'm glad you said it, okay? But can you let me please finish my thoughts from now on, please? Like, I'm really having a hard time getting through my thoughts on my show. It's really difficult.
I forget if I wait too long, so I that's why I kind of jumped in.
Yes, I know, but like I'm really having a difficult time getting my thoughts out there. Right? Can you just like write it down, have a notepad next to you, okay? Because that was such a good rant, and I love that rant, and I appreciate that rant, okay? I really appreciate that. But please stop, like let me finish my thoughts because I let you finish your thoughts, okay? Good deal.
I'll try. I'll do my best.
You. Because this is like the part, like you have the whole segment with no co-host or anything that you get to say all the time with nobody interrupt you. Like this is the only time that I have to be able to get my. We have Ali's segment where he gets his ideas out. We have Monkey segment. We have he gets his ideas out there. This is the only time I have to be able to share some of my views. And I really love your rants, but just wait for me to finish, okay?
Yeah. Say what you were gonna say. Go ahead.
I don't remember. But that was
that's what happens to me too. I share in your frustration. You forget, I forget. Like we gotta write it down.
I don't interrupt though. I don't interrupt, right? I don't interrupt. Don't interrupt. Just don't interrupt. Okay, let's go to the next video. Guys, I'm gonna treat you guys with maybe some good takes instead.
These DSA people are deeply anti-Israel and they're deeply anti-America as well too. And now look at the kinds of people that they've said, look at the things that they've been forced to delete, what they've said online. And that's not ancient history thing. These are recent things that they've said and that they've done. And it's indefensible. And I don't know why.
So he's talking about the DSA's, hold on, let me actually say, we'll give you the context, right? They are not Democrats. So Senator John Fetterman blasts the Democratic Socialists of America, calling them extremists who are deeply anti-Israel and deeply anti-American. So he's saying they're not even Democrats, right? Fetterman argues Democrats should stop allowing DSA-backed candidates to run under the party's banner, while also taking aim at Michigan Senate candidate Abdul El-Sayed, calling him essentially a pro-Hamas candidate, a phony, and criticizing Senator Bernie Sanders for backing him. Okay, that's a good one.
These DSA people are deeply anti-Israel and they're deeply anti-America as well too. And now look at the kinds of people that they've said, look at the things that they've been forced to delete, what they've said online. And that's not ancient history thing. These are recent things that they've said and that they've done. And it's indefensible. And I don't know why other Democrats, we just can't collectively say they are not Democrats. They can run if they want, but not as a Democrat. These are extremists, and usually they're incredibly anti-American and are willing to even wipe their mouths with the American flag.
Yeah, of course, you're referring to Chevalier there in her since deleted tweet. I want our viewers, and many of them know this individual, but this is El Said. He could be the nominee for Senate in Michigan. Here are some of his thoughts on Medicaid. Listen to this.
We have a multi-class healthcare system. And too often in urban communities, because of structural racism, because...
Guys, people in the chat, what do you guys think about Fetterman? Do you like him? Is he like, is this a Democrat that you like?
He's going to go Republican pretty soon.
He's going to go Republican?
He's going to go... I think it's going to... What happened? Remember what happened to Tulsi Gabbard? Remember what happened with RFK? Like the Democrats were pushing him out because he was being an old school Democrat. Remember, Trump was a Democrat. Like, these people have gone insane. What used to be working class values and more of a mixed economy take has become full-blown communism and pro-jihadism. And a lot of old school Democrats that were maybe, I don't know, misaligned, and they're the ones who have a brain and a little bit of a heart. And this guy had brain damage. This is the only person who brain damage made him a better politician. Like, he improved drastically, and his takes improved drastically, because I can understand the where some liberal policies come from. Like, I can understand you wanting to have a bit of a safety net. That kind of makes sense. Like an emergency. I don't know if I want to do a blanket, but like an emergency situation, people that pay into through like some taxes into their prepaid, not welfare, but a prepaid insurance into if you lose your job. Well, that's what you get when you get, oh my God, what's the name of the thing? When you lose your job, you get unemployment benefits. Well, yeah, but you've been paying into it. So that kind of program that comes from the left, I kind of get it. But this anti-Israel, socialist, anti-America, communist rhetoric is something that a lot of old school Democrats cannot vote for. And the center left is starting to get fed up with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of sad that because I know a lot of you will celebrate him coming to the Republican Party, but there's an argument to be made that maybe like it would have been good to somebody. Sometimes some of the better people could try to make the party better instead of, because the more good people abandon it, the shittier that party becomes, and that's not good for the Republican Party to have. It's good for the Republican Party to have a competition that is good, not such a shitty competition. And if everybody good abandons it, then like there's nothing, like what are you even competing against, right? But anyways,
I would have a little bit of pushback on that it may be good for them to have big losses. They may need that big loss for them to shave out these people and then become a better party, right? If they have such a drastic loss because they've accepted so many of these DSA socialist scumbags that they have to like reorganize themselves, there's two roads ahead. One of them leads to them shaving off these people, right, and becoming a better party. The other road leads to them becoming even more extreme, but pushing a lot of people into the Republican Party because they are too extreme to even caucus with for a lot of people. So the blowback might do them good.
That's a very good point, because the damage it has turned so bad that the only way to fix it is for them, to have a huge loss, like basically maybe burn the whole thing down and just see what you could get out of the ashes instead of trying to fix it. But yeah, let's see what here.
Know this individual, but this is El Said. He could be the nominee for Senate in Michigan. Here are some of his thoughts on Medicaid. Listen to this.
We have a multi-class healthcare system. And too often in urban communities, because of structural racism, because of the circumstances of segregation, you end up having situations where you may have health insurance through Medicaid, but you don't have health care because you can't get your Medicaid accepted where you need to get care.
Now, this is the new socialist in place of Graham Plattner that they're rallying behind. What do you think of him?
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. Bernie is there campaigning for this guy. Humble yourself, Bernie. You just push an accused rapist and imploded up in Maine, and now you're pushing, essentially a pro-Hamas candidate that's been anti-American and deeply anti-Israel. You know, he's a socialist that earned $700,000 last year. His wife, in private practice, she refuses to accept Medicaid for that. I mean, you know, he's a phony, and he has said incredibly anti-American thing.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That at least somebody from that side is calling them out. So I just wanted to give you guys a break before we go back to some shit takes. Let's look at this. Monkey, look at this one. Here, this is only 12 seconds.
If you go on X, if you go on Instagram, if you go on TikTok, you're being manipulated by Israel.
Oh.
They're not the only ones, but boy, they are the biggest.
The biggest, she says. The biggest.
I don't know what she's talking about. Like I go on Twitter. I go on X. It's the opposite. People are talking shit about Israel, making up lies, libels, AI videos. Like, where is this alleged? Oh, you know who controls you when you know who you can't talk about. Well, then it's not Israel, because people talking about Israel talk a lot of shit everywhere. Like there's this false dichotomy. Like, oh my God, the Israelis and the Jewish people are being protected. Absolute bullshit. If that were true, you wouldn't be on air. If that were true, Tucker wouldn't be on air. If that were true, Candace wouldn't be on air. How come the people with big audiences, people with big following, I mean, we're not talking massive, but big enough to make a lot of money, are out there saying, I'm being censored, I'm being deplatformed? Oh, really? Then why am I seeing you? Why are you getting all these money from these simps and these third world Durka jihadists sending you super chats? Why is that? Maybe you're just full of shit.
You know, look at the caption over here saying Qatar has Al Jazeera, Turkey has TRT, China has Singham Network, Russia has RT, and let's not even mention foreign bought armies. But no, Megyn Kelly says that an Israeli contract routing through a small digital marketing firm out of Ohio is the biggest influence operation on earth. So that was what she was referring to.
She's full of shit.
She's full of shit, yeah. And speaking of full of shit, one more video I wanted to show you guys to see how in United States, how the barbarians are inside. They have passed the gates. They're inside the town, and guys, I know your percentage of population of Muslim is much less than many European countries, but oh boy, they're making the most out of it. This is the whole point of the Palestinian cause in the West, is to make up for lower numbers in Muslims by making people who are not Muslims get on the Palestinian cause and basically be politically the same as Muslims. That's the whole point of the Palestinian cause movement, to get into your politics even with low percentage of Muslims. That is the entire point of the political arm of the Palestinian cause. But look at this.
I give credit to pro-Palestinian movements for the rise of people like Daria Lisa, of the Claire Valdez. Claire Valdez, in her victory speech, literally said, I'm going to Congress to fight for Palestinian liberation. That's what she said. You know what I mean? Daria Lisa was one of the encampment organizers at Columbia University, and now she will be the congresswoman that represents Columbia University. I mean, poetic justice, it's just incredible. We are proving that Zahran is not a one-hit wonder, and that Zahran is just part of a larger movement of power building that we have been doing on the electoral side. Dr. Abdullah Sayed, who's running as hopefully the first Muslim American to go to the United States Senate on a platform of abolish ICE as a United States Senator, on Medicare for all, and on stopping military aid to Israel. And guess what? My guy is polling high in those polls, right? And so again, I am not surprised by all of this. A lot of people are like, oh my God, New York, we're so shocked. If you're an organizer like the people at AROC, you know, and you watch the evolution of organizing on the ground, you know that these moments are coming because you've been building towards these moments for decades, some people before we were organizing. And what we're reaffirming over and over again is that Palestine is actually good for politics. Same people knocking doors are the same people that when there's a protest for Palestine
is good for politics. Guys, haven't I been telling you for years Haven't I been telling you for years that the Palestine cause has nothing to do with the nation state, has nothing to do with liberating people? It's an expansionist movement. It's a terroristic expansionist movement with the goal of taking over the world, with the goal of destroying Israel, but not just Israel, but taking over America, taking over Canada, taking over Europe. That is the Palestine is good for politics, means that this whole Palestinian cause is an excuse. It has nothing to do with saving the people who live in Gaza and in Judea and Samaria. It's about taking over your politics. That was the entire intention from day one.
And on Saturday, they're also
That's
there.
wait. Can I? You know what? Go ahead. I got a call.
Okay.
And they knock doors. A lot of time people said, oh, the pro-Palestinian move, they don't understand power. They just want to go outside and yell in the streets. Yeah, we want to do that too, because we want to maintain our issue and raise awareness, and we need outlets for our outrage at what is happening and continues to happen in Palestine. But guess what? We also knock doors. We also do phone banking. This is a new day. AIPAC's day, people keep saying AIPAC's days are numbered, but I think, we're proving it. And I have this feeling in my heart that tells me that the Democrats, as we all know, I mean that as a party, are not blue no matter who. And I don't know if they're going to throw down for Dr. Abdul in the way that he's going to deserve as a Democratic nominee from Michigan. So that's going to mean that we all have to step up as a movement to try to fill the gaps that maybe the party won't fill, because Dr. Abdul is not their type of candidate, as they say. A race between him and Mike Rogers is going to be a very exciting race for this country.
Guys, you're witnessing an attempt of a takeover of your country. Like, I hope you understand what you're witnessing here.
And will tell us a lot about.
Like historically, the way that Muslims and your other enemies will try to come invade you is at the battlefield. Okay, you would come, they will send their armies, they will come to your border. Your enemies, whether they were Nazis, communists, Muslims, whatever they were, Japanese imperialists, they will send their armies, meet you at your border. You will send your defense. They will try to take your land. You will defend them. Okay, so the communist imperialism was defeated. Nazi imperialism was defeated. The Islamic imperialism was defeated. So the Ottoman Empire, the Nazi Empire, the Communist Empire, all of them failed. Okay, because why? Because Western countries defeated all of them at the battlefield. That was the traditional method of invasion. We have a new modern way of invasion. Modern way of invasion is that we don't send our armies. We send migrants. We take advantage of your democracy and your tolerance and your migration policy to come in, become resident, become citizen, have high birth rates, come for your capital instead of going for your border, instead of taking over inch by inch from your border, eating away from your border. We come and take seats. Instead of trying to defeat your army, we try to rule your army. Because why fight against an army that we can't defeat? So we already tried the old method. The old method was to try to fight the armies of Western powers. We lost. Instead of trying to defeat them, what if we instead get a seat in controlling them by basically coming straight to the capital and getting elected into the halls of power? This is the new form of invasion. And this, what you're seeing right now, is an attempt for your country.
There's one thing I want to point out here.
Yep.
She's talking about money. Everything she's saying is about money. When she's talking about Colombia, she's talking about money. When she's talking about organizers, those are paid organizers, she's talking about money. When they say that the Palestinian cause, it gets votes, she's talking about money. When she's talking about phone backs, she's talking about money because those people get paid. Everything she's saying, if you are someone that is from the USA and you're looking, look, Texas is backing me up. Texas, this is all about money. This is money that they get from organizers, money that they get from NGOs. Why do you think they're getting their people out of Columbia universities? One of the universities that get millions and millions, some say billions of dollars in funding. If you go back through everything she said and you look for everything that has to do with money, you're seeing that these are paid campaigns, paid organizations, probably like things like NIAC, NAIR, but also BLM. You know, they wash money into this, and all these people are paid to go out there. And you know what else they do? They cheat. They get paid to go look at those voter rolls, go look at those calls, go look at, like, this is something that's being uncovered everywhere, right? So these people are getting deeply into the system. And when we're talking about the system, we're talking about the electoral system. We're talking about voter rolls. We're talking about getting fraud entrenched and donating to the party. There's a lot of pieces here, but a lot of this has to do specifically with money. And the specific part of the money she's talking about is organizing and funding their campaign movements. That's why she says people think it's a surprise, but the people that have been organizing here for a long time know that this was coming. Some of these organizers passed it on to other organizers because this is about money. This is about money. If you, I would love, I want to do it on my show. I'm going to go back and go through everything there that means money, because that's what this is about.
All right. So if this is about money, then this is Islamic Republic money. This is Qatari money. This is Chinese money from the CCP, and this is Russian money. These are vehicles of your enemies getting into your politics. If this is all about money, then this is money. If I bet you, then if you track this down and follow the money, it will go to Tehran, it will go to Moscow, it will go to Beijing, and it will go to Doha. All of it goes back to the centers of the very places that are the most anti-American powers in the world is basically trying to. This is your enemies finding a way directly into Washington, D.C., if this is all about money. Then
I may have used the wrong word when I said push back, because I'm not actually pushing back. I do agree with everything you said, because it's also true. But I would add that there is a layer hidden in what she's saying that speaks to the people that are organizer, that is telling them, hey, there's money in this, there's wins. And once we get in political power, we get even more money.
More, yeah. This is an act of invasion, do you agree with that? This is
100%. Oh, they're doing it at the systemic level, and they're using our own mechanisms of law and power against us so they can facilitate their invasion.
Okay, I just have a few more seconds left.
Tell us a lot about how.
Monkey, I will send this to you in Telegram so you could go through it line by line on your show, okay?
I would love that so much, because I want to break this down. Thank you.
You're welcome.
How much power we have as a movement. We are able to elect United States senators like Abdul. It'll help set us up, hopefully, for 2028, for Chuck Schumer, for Kirsten Gillibrand. There's a couple of people that are opportunities that we have as a movement where we can actually, defeat some of these corporate Democrats, some of these AIPAC-backed Democrats, and put in fresh leadership that is going to align with our communities.
Wow. Okay. So, guys, Monkey and I are going to go eat something and then get ready for our group discussion. So, let me put the link to we have a group call today. You guys could come join us there. Monkey, will you be there today for a group call to talk to people in the group call?
I got to go right now, super quick, but I think I'll be back in time for the call. I want to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you guys for being here. And help you all for putting up with me. I interrupt. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm not going to send you monkey kisses, but I'm sending the hug. I'm sending it right now, giving you a monkey squeeze. It's not as bad as a chimp squeeze. It's just a monkey squeeze.
Monkey squeeze. Okay. We love you, Monkey. We love you. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye. All right, guys. So Monkey, he's left, I think, already. Is he left? Is he still there? Okay. I'm going to put him down. Well, I'm not. Oh my God, put him down. Not in that one. I gotta put the monkey. I said I'm gonna put him down. No. Okay, guys, here's the link to our group discussion, and you're gonna see the group call over here. The link to it is over here or in the calendar section. Or if you don't want to join our group discussion, you could watch it. You must shh. Okay. Oh my god. You can monkey assault. No, you could watch our group call here. You could come to Liberty Politics and just go to the live section, and you will be able to just watch us having the discussion live. Wow. Oh no, Texas saying, oh my god, Armin is putting the monkey down. No, I'm not. Okay. All right, guys. So I don't see you in the group call or watch. I'll see you guys in YouTube in about an hour. Yes, in 1 hour we're gonna go live, and you guys can get to watch our group call together. Okay. Anyways, I'll see you guys soon in 1 hour, and until then, I'm Israel Chai, Slava Ukraine, Cuba Libre, Long Live America, Javicha Payande Iran. Mwah. Love you guys. See you soon.